All right, I think we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Hi there, Kyle. Welcome. All right, doing good. We're just about to get started, and we're going to be continuing with unit testing. So, last week on Friday, we ran into a small snag in regards to, I think it was file tests, and file tests had a weird test case that didn't pass regarding case insensitivity. So I debugged it on the Linux side, and it turns out that it was related to having so the folder paths, right? Let me just go to the unit test real quick so I can demonstrate. So the issue was, at least with the way I wrote this code, here, let me switch to unit testing. Okay, so originally I had some, I had test cases, like these are supposed to be the non-existent test cases, right? Like it's supposed to test like case insensitivity, make sure that, oh, if we like capitalize things, it doesn't really matter. Like we can do title like transparent, capitalizing a couple letters, and it would still work fine. It's supposed to. Whereas like obviously having typos, having the correct one of course should work. So overall, the issue was this, whatever I wrote for the case insensitivity thing, it doesn't take into account parent paths. So if I capitalized the parent path incorrectly, it would actually fail and like crash. And it's a result of the way I wrote this test. In order to fix this, we'd have to recursively go through every single subdirectory, checking or doing util to lower on every single subpath, and then seeing if that folder existed inside directly. And we'd have to do this for every single one. And I thought that's not really going to be the case because all of our folders are fixed case. The only time this is going to be a problem is for actual files. So basically, I removed that test case altogether and just said, let's only test case insensitivity for file names. Hi there, Superman. Greetings. Welcome. Good to see you. Yes, yes. Welcome, welcome. So I got that fixed up, and then I started implementing the next tests, which were item tests. And those were fine. We actually did those last week. And I actually added one more because we discovered a new bug. So I'm just catching all up on what's been happening over the weekend. So we had an issue that I filed. Why are we not loading anything? Oh, I'm on the wrong project. I'm on my Git blocker. Okay, so here we have closed issues. We have had a new issue I started last week called when consuming all of a loadout item, the item no longer visibly replenishes in the slot if more are available. So this issue cropped up because I was... Actually, my friend, my composer for the game, was playtesting and used up all the items in a loadout slot. But they used up all 10 like you can bring with you on the field, and they had more that they picked up. So what's supposed to happen is you're allowed to bring 10 max of any consumable into the field, and after you finish a stage, it's supposed to reload 10 more, or however more you have left, right? Until you run out of the item. So it wasn't doing that. If you ran out of an item and then you went to the next stage, it actually just removed the item from the loadout slot. So that was a bug. So then I'm like, okay, well, we don't have a test covering that. We didn't detect that was a bug. So I added a unit test that adds health potions, mana potions, and elixir of the wind to your hotbar when playing. And then we just verify they are maxed out. And then for both loadout items 0 and 1, we go ahead and use them 10 times. and then we see if we have consumed them all, make sure that works, and then we call this function restock loadout items, and this is responsible for restoring all the items in your loadout slots after every stage. So by calling this function, we can then test, okay, does this work or not? And this test did fail at this require previously. It's now passing, so that's great, and we're back on track. So this issue got closed, this commit fixed everything, and I did a pull request the other night to get all that squared away. So you can see we're back to fully passing. Our auto build does everything it's supposed to, and unit tests are passing. You can see here under run unit tests, the logs will demonstrate or show that all tests have passed. So we are basically caught up. Also, I'm using a browser that I've come to like. I've been using it on one of my Lubuntu systems, and I've come to really like it. It's called Min. It's a very simple browser. Like, it's meant to be very simple. You can see how clean it is. The bar is literally one row. There's only a couple tools. There are like tasks that you can assign, so you can put tabs in multiple groups, which is great, of course. And you just got very simple, you have very simple preference. Like, this is all the preferences of this program. It's not very customizable. It's not meant to be. It just comes with an auto, like, ad blocker and tracker blocker, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, it doesn't really have much, and it's not supposed to. And so I thought that was pretty cool. So I do like this browser a lot, and it's very fast. It's very simple, and I like it. So I've been using it more lately. What setup would you suggest for game dev? I mean, it really just comes down to what you need to use. Like, for example, I like using Visual Studio, right? So I'm stuck with Windows. Like, I have no choice on OS if I'm going to use Visual Studio. I did use Visual Studio Code earlier on in this project's lifetime, but my current main programming computer, my fastest one that can compile, because I need fast compile times, considering it takes 4 minutes just to compile my game every time I change a header, because C++. So, yeah, I'm just using Windows here. But if I was on Linux, of course, I would set up a Visual Studio Code setup. I've also been interested in trying, like, just like a basic editor like VI or NeoVim or something. I heard those are great. Or Emacs is fun too. So like, there's a couple ways to go. It's all preference. I can't really answer that for you. A suckless browser. Yeah, I mean, like, literally, I'm just like, this is all I need. I don't need anything fancy. I don't need any special features. I just need to be able to go to a silly website, look up stuff, and I'm on my way. I don't really need anything else. Why does a browser have 10 million features when all I need to do is load an HTML web page? With JavaScript occasionally, of course. Yeah. So it's been something I've been using lately, so I'm test driving it now. I was using Midori before this. Midori is a lot heavier though. It's like Firefox, but not under Mozilla. So yeah. Anyway, we're implementing the next unit tests. So we've got, I think, 2 more to do today, and then I think we're done with all the unit tests. Like, we're ready to proceed, assuming we don't encounter any more errors. So that's gonna be exciting. So let's finish this up. So we left off on item tests, so we have monster and player tests left. 2 of the most important ones, actually. Hi there, Radio. Welcome to the stream. And it's Code Livian. Welcome. Sorry for bombarding. No, it's okay. I love talking about this kind of stuff. I enjoy programming chat. Don't ever be afraid to, like, speak up. Like, that's part of the fun, is the interaction, the enjoyment, the camaraderie among fellow programmers, right? Or those trying to get into programming too. It's just all good fun. I enjoy it. I really like talking to others about programming and sharing my passion for it. It's very fun. Okay, so the conversion process goes as follows. We need to remove cpp unit test.h, the using cpp unit testing framework. Well, notice here there's a test module initialize, which is kind of interesting because this hasn't been really used anywhere else. So I'm trying to think, does this... I don't know why this exists. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know why this exists. I don't think it's required here. I could look it up, but I'm pretty sure that already happens when we initialize a new AIL object. So I think we're good. Are we raw dogging programming? No AI? That's crazy. Yeah, I don't use any AI. I just code like the old days. I haven't really integrated AI into anything I do. I don't really have a reason to. I've talked about with a lot of people, and basically one of the main points for me is like, you would use AI if you want to like speed things up, right? If you don't want to take the time to code all of it yourself. Not that that's not a bad thing, but for me, it's just like, I want to, this is my baby. This is my project. I modify and touch every single line of this project. So to me, this is like my passion. If I don't get to at least do the programming, then I'm not having fun. Like, having the AI create all the code for me is not fun. So that's my big thing. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing this, I've been doing C++ for a little over 6 years now, and I've been programming since I was little, so I've been programming for like 23 years. So I have a lot of time under my belt to just like learn and develop as a programmer. So, and that's part of why I enjoy it so much. Hi there, Creton. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Yeah. So, we have to get rid of these little curlies down here. We don't need them anymore. We're currently converting all of our testing suite to a new testing suite. A new testing framework. So that's what we've been doing over the past 3 days. We're actually almost done. We pretty much have a process down. I'm just going through it now. So initialize turns into the constructor. This is for a class called monster test. So this is the constructor for it. And then we have a monster test destructor. This should be in its own, monster test with an S. And this should be the destructor. Monster tests, like so. And those will get set up and running. I do think they have to be, okay, they are public. I'm gonna move these to the top just for visibility, because they are run like right away. Probably put it under that unique pointer of the game though. Okay. Finally, someone that understands the fun in coding. I know, yeah. I enjoy like sharing my passion, and I think it's very unique. I know nowadays a lot of people like really try to what do you call it? Try to endorse AI usage, and that's not a problem. I have nothing against AI. I just don't like it. That's all. I just don't use it. But there's nothing saying other people cannot, right? Test method. We need to replace that with this is using a macro called test. I'm also going to replace like the inner parens, because with the new Catch2 testing framework, we need to supply the class name. So I'm going to do that. I'm on caps lock right now. Monster test, comma. And I'll go ahead and add a quotation mark while I'm at it, because it needs to be the start of a string. And then we're going to change all these assert art equals into require. Is that my Miku? Yes, that's your Miku. It's Miku. Hello. Yeah. Soothing sight for sore eyes to see that someone who is not using AI and everything, much respect. Oh, thank you. Like, I'm just coding the way we used to code. I'm not doing anything special. This is just how I would normally code. So I'm like, I'm not doing anything different than I've done for the past 23 years. So one lone coder hit it on the head for me. There's nothing wrong with doing things because you enjoy them. If you like painting, why would you offload what you enjoy to AI? Exactly. Like, just because it's there doesn't mean you have to use it. Like, I think a lot of people are like pressured to use these things. They're like, oh my god, it's like a requirement now because you can just get so much more done. Look at the speed of everything you have to do now, and like everybody's going so much faster. It's like, well, this is all like kind of in your head. You can still treat it as just like a hobby. Thank you. So the goal today, the first goal is to finish converting the last 2 unit test modules from our old system. So like these are all the old CPP source files on the old unit testing framework. So we have 2 left to go, so we're converting them right now. And then making sure they pass, of course, because these were all written with the intention of passing. And then once all these unit tests are confirmed to be working in the new testing framework, we're going to go ahead and resume with where we left off, working on one of the Chapter 4 bosses, which is going to put us towards our first big milestone that I have remaining for this year of finishing Chapter 4. There are 5 chapters in the game, so that is one step closer to being completely done. Yeah, so I'm very excited. So I'm looking for more asserts because we have to convert these as well. Oops. And we got this one, so we just convert that to true. Or I can say instead of true, I just prefer to use require here and just, you know, call the Boolean function. I feel like that just makes more sense to me than just putting a true in the middle of nowhere. And then we have assert fails. So this one's, yeah, we have a fail macro as well. So now we'll go there. And it doesn't need to be a wide string anymore. Okay, there's a lot more of these actually. I did these quite a few times. They're all like to check illegal like stats, it looks like, which is interesting because I'm pretty sure I could wrap these all up in like an array and just have them all run together as well in one. So that might be something I do in the future, but right now they're all separate and they're all just kind of like, they all just kind of follow the same structure here. But yeah, we can fix all these at once, of course. And then down here, there's actually an error. Test monster is not declared. Do we not have the monster? Oh, I see. Yeah, we still have compile errors, but that's fine. So let me get a couple more of these done. So assert is true. It just turns into require, like literally 1 for 1. So we can do that in the current document. And then assert is false. So this one, we're gonna grab the parens as well because we have to add a not to it. Because before it would check this condition and then determine if it was false. So if we add a not to it with the require still, then it'll functionally be the same thing. Of course, we still have to get rid of the latter half, but we'll get to that. We got a trick up our sleeve for this one. Looking for any more asserts. I think we got everything. So the next thing I'm gonna do is we wrote this last week. We wrote a little program. I think it's in 2026. We called it the comma replacer. It does more than replace commas now, but essentially we made a program that does some automated text editing for us. So if I open up Visual Studio Code and I go to the input file and paste my source file and then run this program, it's essentially going to clean it up a little bit and do some of the things automatically that I would have done that I would have had to do manually. So then in output, we should have an output source file that's modified. So if I go ahead and paste it now, the major changes it's done is all these requires no longer have their comments. Before you might have saw they had like this and they had something explaining the test. That's now all gone. It cleaned those up. It also did, as you can see, like this kind of deal where it's like checking for. Now this is kind of weird though. I don't know what happened here. It's supposed to be like m.hurt for. I don't know why there's an equality here. That doesn't look right. So we're probably gonna. And then you can see there's some equal signs here. That's also not correct. I feel like it messed up. It was not. It was not this bad before. So we did fix a line. Oh, yeah. I added this, but now something's not right. How did this happen? Yeah, this looks funny. Okay. Well, let me grab an original line and we'll compare. So this is supposed to be line 494. Here's the original. And line 494 looked like... Oh, we probably lost some lines too, didn't we? Let's look for hurt fails when dead right here. And this is what the line originally looked like. It added an equal sign here, and then it got rid of the comment like it was supposed to. So the equal signs just have to go, essentially, and it would be fine then. But then what about these assert is falses? Because it looks like... Oh, I see what happens. For functions that have arguments that are called as the assertion, it's actually going to replace them thinking it's the comment instead of replacing this comment. So that's what happened here. We can see it replaced the comma here with double equal sign. So that's a bug with our shortcut tool. So what we're gonna have to do is probably detect like, okay, yes, search for a comma, but the goal of it, let me see. So what was the original goal? So it was supposed to be if we had an assert whatever. So it would have been like assert like is true, for example, right? It had one of these before, as I just explained. So what we have to do is we have to see if it has a comma L, not just a comma, because then we know it's a comment that should go away. Which is interesting because I think what we write after it is exactly what it does. So do we just write the same thing again for no reason? If not line contains assert, then if we have a require, which means we've already parsed it, find a comma, but we also have to find an L. So do we just find the L? I feel like we just find the L then and assume there's a comma before it and get rid of it. Because we even do here, the substring goes from 0 to string marker -1 to account for the comma. So why did we write this in the first place? I guess we were trying to make sure that it does have require in the line, which we can do, actually. We can go this route. I think that's correct. Yeah, so this will fix it because it's searching for just the L, which indicates the wide string we're interested in. And then it will fix it that way. So let's just try this again. So the input file's still there. I'm just gonna run this again and we'll see what the output looks like now. And hopefully that one makes way more sense. So this is the new output. Okay, so this one looks better. There's still like, okay, so now there are the secondary arguments. So in the original testing framework, you provided the actual versus the, right? So this is where the double equals replacement is supposed to happen. So that was the intention. Okay, so now I think we understand what the problem is. This was to replace the double equals thing, but we have to make sure the next character, if we find a comma, is not an L. So we have to add that as a conditional. So not only do we have to find a comma, but the next position after the comma marker in line, so line character at, or we can just do a index, comma marker +1 must not be equal to an L, because if it is, we can't proceed. And there should never be a comma just dangling at the end of a line, so I don't think we'll error out because we're looking at an invalid array index. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this one more time. And a syntax error. I missed something. Oh, I deleted. This is if it contains require. I guess we could just put this back then. Yeah, that's fine. Should be the same logic regardless. Okay. So now, let's hope this works. Let's see. So now we have the equalities set up here, which is correct. Let me scroll up a little bit. We have the requires... So we still have the W format thing, which is fine. That we remove separately. Like sometimes we use W format instead of the wide strings, which is fine. And then we have stuff like this, which I'm not sure why. Test monsters undefined. So we seem to have this test monsters undefined a lot. So we have to figure out why that is happening. Is it because we don't have the monster header? It looks like we don't know what a monster is. So maybe we have to include the monster header. So let's do that. Okay. Hold on, there's some like errors up here. Let's start up here because it looks like it's cascading. Like Hertz sound is probably inaccessible. That's one problem we've been running into with these new unit tests, is that like there are members that are inaccessible. We were able to use friend classes before, but a trick we've been doing if we didn't want to expose it is by doing like we check if unit testing is defined, which is the macro that gets set if we are in unit testing mode. And if we are, we're going to add a public here. And then that way we just make sure that it gets properly exposed, only for unit testing though. And then we make sure we add private again afterwards, in case, so we don't expose anything else. Assuming up here was private, we have to be careful of that too. It's a little dumb, but it is a way to go about it. So that looks like it took care of that. What's the next problem? We have test here. Okay, so I don't know what this was. Oh, I'm noticing like this cut off a character. All these that have one less character. That's not good. Okay, interesting. I wonder why. And there's like an extra brace. Where'd that come from? I mean, is this... It looks like it was only for these, so maybe I did something weird here. So play, true, yeah, that's so strange. And up here, same thing. We have deal 5 damage and no damage flag work. Okay. What's wrong here? Sound play to log is inaccessible. So we can do the same thing. We just say if define unit testing, then we define the public. And then we can put private again afterwards. Even though there's nothing below it, I'm just gonna do it for the sake of if we add anything in the future, make sure that it still works that way. So those should be okay now. Great. And then we go down here and we have... what's going on? Same problem? Yeah. Somehow these got, like... I don't know what happened with these. It's kind of strange. And then we go way down here. Dies normally is not visible in the monster class. Okay. So, same thing. Define unit testing. I pressed tab and it spawned this. That's kind of interesting. Oh. It changed the comment on its own. Wait. That's kind of cool. Is this the, what do they call it? Is this an... This must be a template thing. Like, I know these do exist in Visual Studio. They're like called... They have a certain name, and I know they like... I've used it before in some projects, but I haven't seen... I just like accidentally did it. But that's cool. Are you using Copilot by accident? No. Copilot is completely off. Like, yeah, these are called snippets. So you can set these up in Visual Studio. I think I can just, I'm pretty sure here they are. So these are like built-in snippets, right? You can click insert snippet. They have all these like pre-made ones that Visual Studio comes with. Like here's a do. You can be like do while, right? And some of them have this like extra functionality where like when you first set them up, it's like, oh, this value is based on this value. So that's kind of cool. It doesn't save it though. It's not like magic. So yeah, it's just kind of neat. Yeah. So this is public, and then afterwards, go back to private here. Yeah. I've made a couple myself for very specific projects where I've done like really bizarre things I don't want to keep typing out. So yeah. Let me make sure that's supposed to be private up here. Okay, good. Cool. So we can assume the block is private though if it's not exposed, right? For the most part. I mean, it could be protected too, but... Okay, down here, what's going on? No instance of hurt matches the argument list. So again, it still did the equality thing here, which is not right. These are supposed to stay commas. I guess I'll just manually change them. But somehow my auto parser thing is still picking up that these want to be converted for whatever reason. Obviously, it's invalid syntax, so it's not going to allow it to compile. Okay. And down here, same problems. All right, then what do we got? Okay, everything else up to, let's see. Parent? Okay, monster is unconscious, is inaccessible. Please take me to the header. Okay. Unit, testing, public. As much as I like that little snippet thing, I don't really do the comments normally, so I don't want the comment there. I would just have to delete it afterward. Just inconsistent with the rest of my code, so we're not gonna actually use that, but that is cool to know that it exists. All right, we have in undamageable state. Okay. You know what's weird though? I feel like these should be public functions. Like, this doesn't have to be private, right? It is public. Wait, how is it? What is it complaining about if it's not? Oh, is it just like complaining about the equality? Is that what's happening? Yeah, too few arguments. Okay, it did the equality thing again. I was about to say, I'm like, this sounds like a public function. There's no way I would make that private. Okay. And down here we have strategy, which probably needs to be exposed because that is hidden. How did it go monitoring your friend in programming? Or mentoring? Oh, a few weeks ago with the web project thing. It went, I mean, it was like, it's a college project, so obviously there's a due date, and working with the group, it was like a little hectic, but I mean, he passed it. His project passed, but it's not like it was like, it's just a web dev mess. Like, I'll be for real. A lot of it was very scuffed. It's like, it was the project's way overscoped for the course that they were in. Like, it wasn't supposed to be a web dev course, and they were doing a full stack web dev project. Like, that was the requirements. So I don't understand, like, to me, it was just really hectic. Obviously, like, I was able to help them, and that was really awesome. Like, I got to use my knowledge to, you know, help their project, but like, I don't understand why they did a full stack web dev project for that class. That doesn't really make any sense to me. The course was called like systems design, something like that. Oh no, software design, like software. I'd have to look up what it was again, but it's like a software design course where not software design. Software architecture, right? It's like the concepts of engineering, like large pieces of software, right? So like all the strategies that go into it, like how teams are set up, the workflows, what tools are used, that kind of thing. And then the end of the project like assumes that, oh, you're just gonna make a full stack web dev project, good luck. You don't actually learn any web dev in the course, so what? I didn't understand why, but that was their requirement, so they passed it. It was fun. I liked to teach though, because they used React, which I'm very familiar with. They used Mango DB. They used they integrated Stripe, which was actually hilarious. They had like a 10x engineer in there that was like trying to use it as a portfolio piece, so that was hilarious. They put Stripe in there. Yeah. I was mostly helping them build the admin, because not only did they have to design a website that functioned, they had to design an admin panel. So basically they're making two websites, right? The admin side and the customer facing side, and they needed full authentication for it. It's just like, what a nightmare. Okay, this is probably hidden. Yes. So let's get that exposed. Staying public. Like this. Yeah, unfortunately, I really don't want to risk exposing these publicly because I know I'm going to do something dumb with it later. I'm like, oh, I can just access this member, and then like some data structures aren't going to be synced anymore and they're supposed to and whatnot. So I really don't want to change their scope. It's not really wise to, other than in a unit testing environment where it's obviously more controlled. Okay, is Fire Mage not a thing? Monster MP is not. Okay, yeah. Can't I just use... Oh, this is new. That's right. MP is pretty new, and I didn't make a getter for it, and I didn't really want to, so... yeah, monsters haven't had MP until Chapter 4, so... This is very new. And thus, not much has been added in terms of, like, getters. I think the consensus was... mages are the only ones interested in their own MP. Like, monsters were the only ones that were ever going to touch it. There's no reason to make a getter for it, because nothing is going to ever need it. Of course, contrary to the testing, what the unit testing says, but yeah, nothing else needed it, so I never made a getter for it. And then same with MP recovery. Oh, it was definitely a learning experience, and it was definitely a refresher for me in terms of just full stack web dev. I'm glad, like, my skills were... my experience was useful for, you know, at least a college project. That gives me some confidence that, you know, I kind of know what I'm doing. They didn't use TypeScript, which does save me a little, because I am not very good at TypeScript. It's one thing I haven't practiced on. So thankfully they didn't use TypeScript, because that would have been a whole nother thing to learn. Not that I wouldn't like a challenge, but that would have been wild. Similar uni experience. Team projects, real clients, sink or swim kind of thing. Open-ended, not really based. Yeah. Luckily, they had this, like, 10x engineer guy who was really going at it with feature after feature after feature. Like, all the features that wasn't actually, like, required for the project, that guy was doing. So it was kind of hilarious. I'm like, you're living to the meme. You're living to the meme of a 10x engineer. Keep it up. While we do the actual project. Okay. So, what is going on here? This is a little... I assume this was supposed to be a comma, and it got replaced with an... equal... What? Hold on. Okay, this is supposed to be a struct, so comma there. It's supposed to be equal to... Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, that looked a little weird. And then... probably same thing here. This is supposed to be a struct. And then anything else? Alright, everything else looks good. Let's try build. Build time. And like I said, all the unit tests were written and intended to pass. It's not like they're anything new. They're just migrated. So assuming that we migrated it correctly and run everything, all the tests should pass. That's fun. But yeah, happy Monday. Welcome to May. My goal is to be done with Chapter 4 this month for the game. May, and then June and July is Chapter 5. August and September is play testing and polishing and bug fixing, which there are quite a few. My composer has been going through and playtesting the game. He started doing that as he's like figuring out, oh, what kind of like extra music stuff we have to do. And now I have a ton of notes, and there's like, as a solo programmer and developer, like obviously I have like a game designer, so I talked to him about this gameplay related stuff, but like there's only so much we can do, right? Like, I do want this game finished this year. Like, it'd be great to add in all the quality of life features, and of course your game can always be better, but you always have to prioritize. So I've been spending a lot of time like organizing my notes and being like, okay, here's what we are gonna work on, here's what we're not gonna work on. Obviously, like game breaking bugs like that one I showed earlier that we fixed. Obviously, bugs should be handled because we don't want the game to not work correctly, right? Yeah, Monday. Busy Monday. Can I open source file monster tests? Oh, okay, so I've done a couple things to the project to ensure it compiles right because I've had some issues. So first thing I did, and this is relevant, I promise, in CMakeList, we made it so we exclude anything with tests after it. So we are officially naming everything with this convention for unit tests. So that way CMake does not compile stuff for non-testing, the non-testing version. And then in Visual Studio, if I switch to release desktop, you'll see that these currently don't build. I've exclusively marked them as exclude from build. I have to add monster tests to it. And also, the reason why it says the file didn't exist, or no, exclude from build, yes. And the reason why the file didn't build is because when I added it in Visual Studio, it just adds everything to the working directory. So even though I'm in this like unit tests folder, this is really just what's called a filter. It's not even a folder, right? So it can, even if I add stuff in here, it's just adding it to the root directory. So I have a post build script called, I think it's just called update version, but it does more than that. So it's an inaccurate name, but essentially update version gets run. It's a PowerShell script. And at the bottom, it just moves anything in the working directory with tests at the end of it into the tests folder. So that's why when I tried to build, it failed, because it just performed that myself, and also lets me know, hey, you need to exclude it because it's a test. So a little bit of manual work. I could automate the part where I exclude it, like it's literally just modifying the VCX project file, but oh, here's the other annoying thing, right? Since I added it, it assumes that's the directory. Like, if I refresh this, it's gonna say it doesn't exist anymore. If I just, I think I can just F5? I think I have to refresh from up here. Either up here or like, anyway, either way, like, regardless, it's pointing to the old one, so it doesn't exist. Which is really, it's like, these are all quirks of Visual Studio that you just like, you just end up living with. It kind of sucks. It's called the solution view, and it has its downsides, and this is one of them. Okay, so now we're gonna build, and it's gonna actually build. How many languages do you know? Know as in I've programmed in, or know as in like I'm knowledgeable to the point where I can go to a company and say, I can build an app in this language? Because if it's just how many languages have I programmed in, probably at least like 20 or 30. If you name one, I've probably programmed in it before. One recent one I haven't programmed in that people talk about is Rust. I have not programmed in Rust before. Monster test has already been defined in the names. Oh, we have to go through and delete monster tests now. I mean, I can start listing them off. I'm gonna probably forget some, but kind of in chronological order. I know GameMaker language, LabVIEW, Python, PHP, Perl, Bash, C, C++, C#, Java, JavaScript. What else? I don't know Fortran. There's probably like a couple more I haven't listed. I guess that's less than 20 though. Let me see if I can. Oh, Lua. Let's see. Are there any others I can think of? HTML, I don't consider a programming language. HTML is just like a markup language. I think I named them off. Yeah, but it's just stuff I've had to use in the past. I mean, JLSL is whatever. It's like complementary with something else, so I don't really count that either. Yeah, I think I covered the basics. I haven't done Ada. Oh, Ruby. I forgot Ruby. What language do you have the most difficulty learning? I think C, honestly. I learned C very early on, and it was very hard to grasp the concepts because C is a very simple language, but with very low level control of memory. Like, learning the memory parts of it is very hard, but sets you up for everything else. So it's actually very fundamental, and I think that's why a lot of classes teach C, because the feature set is so simple that the simplicity is deceiving, right? It lets you focus on the deep low-level concepts that make up computing as a whole. It's also old as dirt. Agree. Alright, what else? Okay, I think that was the only file that had that issue, so let's go back to monster tests and try compiling again. TS? No, I don't know TypeScript. I mean, I've used some TypeScript, but I wouldn't say I've used so little that I don't count it, right? That's like me saying I know, oh, what was it? That was like me saying I know Rust, and all I've done was Hello World in it. I don't really know Rust, so I don't count that. I've used TypeScript to modify, like, a very simple, like, package, and that's it. Okay. So another redefinition of monster tests. I just have to get rid of all these weird header includes that are, like, everywhere. Just a cost or a function of, we used to do friend classes with these and they're not working, so yeah. You're very happy you found me? Well, I'm glad I can share my passion and knowledge with others, and also learn a lot from people. Like, I love talking to these other programmers that have tuned into my stream and learning a lot. I've been taught a lot of things I didn't know. I get to just enjoy learning more programming. That's part of the fun, and just sharing the passion, sharing the trials and tribulations that come with debugging and things not working, and the successes that everybody has with, like, oh, I just completed this or that. And I'm like, that's cool. Yeah. It's just a lot of fun to, you know, it's part of the fun of streaming, is you just get to meet other people online and talk about stuff you love. And that's really the best part. Yeah, just everybody coming together, having a good old time while trying to make this game work. Python C++ is a good base, though. I will admit. Like, I mean, I started with Game Maker language, something that isn't that's tied to one very specific engine, so it's like I was stuck on it for a long time, but I think the appeal was there, right? When I was young, like, Game Maker was my go-to, especially back then. Living the true human experience over streams. Yeah, for real. I just love it. I just enjoy talking about it. And I've been streaming for forever, so it's like I've just gotten used to having, like, discussions with people and finding all sorts of fun, like, meeting all sorts of fun people that did all sorts of things, right? Are you interested in becoming a full-time game dev or a solo dev? I don't really want to bank on it as, like, a source of income, because it just doesn't sound... It doesn't sound very fun in the sense of I am now relying on it in order to sustain. Like, I don't think it's very reliable as a source of income, especially nowadays. Like, with the Steam game market, like, thousands of games are released every year now. Like, my game is nothing special in terms of, like, if I'm being realistic, like, a couple hundred copies of my game being sold would make me super happy, because I think, like, people would enjoy, like, a kind of, like, retro RPG type of action game inspired by old, like, SNES classics. But, like, I can't see myself, because I'm not, like, super creative, right? The whole game design came from somebody else. If I could form, like, a studio and maybe, like, work together with some people and come up with a plan, maybe. But at the same time, then it becomes like time pressure, time crunch, right? Like, all these new problems get introduced that are just not present, especially right now for me, because I am just having fun, doing this for fun, right? I think just computer programming, like software development in general, I think will be much more viable for me, and just gets me the money I need to then take a break and, you know, do something like this. Like, literally, what I've done is I've basically worked for the last 10 years and then decided to take a 1-year break, because I've just saved money for that. So I think that's a very, like, that's a very viable way of just living your life, kind of. Like, build up some savings, then take a break, have some fun, then go back and do some more work. And then take another break and do some more fun. I could see myself being almost like a senior dev level. I'm probably like in between. I'm not quite a junior dev, but I don't have the professional experience to be considered a senior dev. Because there are some qualities I think make a senior dev, like architecture-wise, like software architecture and design-wise, and also team building-wise, like team management and project management-wise. I think I'm lacking a little bit in those skills, if I'm just being realistic. But in terms of junior dev, oh yeah, junior dev role is fine, like somewhere in the middle. Oh, hi Diamond! Thank you. No, I'm saying I'm somewhere in the middle, right? But no, I wouldn't sell myself short either. Like, my hope is to get a pretty good, like, paying job when I go back, because I will try to search for, like, a programming job, because I think it's time. Like, I can put my skills to use, and it'll be pretty fun. Like, I like working in, like, small programming teams and just building software, solving problems. Like, the problem solving part's the most fun for me. I guess the biggest thing to fight over is like, okay, well, I have to utilize like AI tools. Well, I have to like fight others who insist on using AI tools and like try and, you know, like there's a lot when it comes to that. And that's just something I'm probably going to have to deal with that I haven't thought of I've had to deal with in the past. It's like, did I miss it? Oh, they both need this. So I'll just do that. Okay, cool. I know a guy who left software engineering for a full-time game dev job. Yeah, I think a game dev job pays less, but also is more fulfilling, right? In that sense. So I could see that happening. You like, you get a job, a high-paying job, work for a little while, and then you have some money to live a little more frugally than you did before, while still getting to do what you love, right? You probably answered this before, but your live stream just popped in my YouTube recommendation feed. Why are you not leveraging AI? I don't leverage AI because I just enjoy writing out the code and doing the problem solving and having fun. I don't enjoy prompting an AI to do the things I want to do. I enjoy the process of writing out each line of code. I've done it for a very long time, and I still enjoy it. And I definitely don't want to ask AI to help me solve a problem, because that's the most fun part of programming, is the problem solving. When a problem arises, that's when I get really excited, because it's something I want to ask the whys. I want to dig deep. I want to debug. I really want to... It gives me stuff to do, right? It's fun. Oh, solo dev. Solo dev is cool too. It would be a little more intimidating if I had to rely on like my income, my living status based on projects I build as a solo dev. That would be very intimidating, but that would be that could be fun if like it was sustainable. I just don't think it's realistic for most people. You gotta make a very good game. Very good game. Okay, we are successful, so we're just gonna run these tests. So these are all under monster tests, so we're gonna go ahead and run those under Test Explorer. I don't know why it keeps defaulting back to this. I want to keep it categorized under project, so it says Adventures in Listoria, but it keeps defaulting back to this other thing. So here are all the monster tests. I'm just gonna go ahead and run all of these. Oh, I just hit run all. I guess we're running all. I'll just let that run for a minute. Thankfully, the unit tests run a lot faster now because we no longer load the graphics. I admittedly didn't realize that we were loading like graphics when we were doing these unit tests, which is kind of dumb. So I was basically loading all the game's graphics every single test, which we caught very recently when we were migrating. What preferred tech stack do you like to work with at a professional level? I think I would love to do just like systems development. Either systems development or web dev backend. I like backend for whatever reason. I think that's very fun. Or obviously like something visual, like a video game, like programming a game, or like maybe like a video or something. Like not necessarily a video, but like presentation wise, like coding like effects or something could be fun. I think any of those categories would be very fun. But systems, just because systems get very complex and are very challenging, like I think it would be super cool to like program like one of those old school like cash registers, like program a new app for them. I think that would be very cool. Like just the whole process would be. I don't know, I just find that fun. I find the idea of that fun. I would definitely qualify as a senior dev. Oh, thank you. I do like to hear others' opinions about like where my level sits, because I also don't want to like, you know, undersell myself. So if I'm doing great, then I like to hear that feedback too, right? Like, because I don't know, I haven't worked professionally, so I'm kind of out of the loop. I mean, T1 calculator is a little simpler than what I was imagining, but yeah, like, you could. Like, even like some kind of, ooh, oh, this is a string check. We know what we have to do here. But, like, I have like these dance pads behind me called like SMX pads, STEM Maniacs pads, and I think it's more like towards the embedded systems field of programming, but like, I think programming one of those would be sick. Like, this is what they look like, and they do have like an API for how they're programmed, but when you're playing on them, they like flash and do all sorts. I guess this was the best example of it. But yeah, like these flash and stuff, and they come with the C. I think it's actually a C# API that I then. No, they have like a C API that I then converted to C++ and Pixel Game Engine to like modify the colors and stuff. But I think it'd be really cool just to have them. Oh, we have a vector subscript out of range. How'd that happen? Okay. Okay. Stuff is happening. We'll see in a moment what's going on. But I removed this, so we can't compare chart pointers to strings with this testing framework. We found out, so that's why that test failed. This test actually failed because of a vector subscript. So we're gonna have to debug for this one. I have no professional experience, but I'd say your skill level's up there. Yeah, I definitely think I'm in the middle, at least in the middle, but Cretone says senior, so that's cool. Yeah, let's debug and see what happened. Dun, dun, dun. Monster haste move test. So I'm guessing whatever vector subscript error is here is also going to be in the other one, because they're surely related. To be fair, from what I've seen in the tech job market, it's a lot of putting in your time over actual quality of developers. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, like, I mean, if you put in the work and you care about things, then people are gonna notice that, right? Like, that's just how it goes. Okay, vector subscript out of range. Doing what? Because that was setting a variable, which is like, okay. Let's see here. Handle user input. Let's jump back a little bit to the test itself first so we know what we're doing. Oh, so this is on a game update. Okay. So, context, we call a game update. Then we go to handle user input. What's going on in here? We're trying to get a tile sheet for the current level. Oh. Do we not have this level? This is called test map. I swear we have this implemented. Let me go look. We added this a long time ago. It was like just a test map with some tiles for things to live on. Just for testing, of course. So there should be a test map. Let's open up tiles and take a look. Okay. I only played Stemmania on keyboard. Any recommended song packs? Oh my god, there's... I mean, if you're talking about pad play, then like there's a huge community revolving around it now. Like it's insane. Like basically the go-to is like it's called like ITG, right? And there is like a community maintained like release spreadsheet, and like it's hard to Google. It's like you have to go to like, it's always annoying trying to find this thing. But this site does exist too. It's called ITGDB, and it's essentially the same thing, trying to upload everything via a database. But oh, there it is. So yeah, it also links the spreadsheet, which is great. There's tons of stuff in here, so if you're looking for actual content regarding this, you'll find them in here. It's not loading for whatever reason. Oh, there we go. And yeah, like you can even see like on April of 2026, April 24th, 2026, somebody released this pack. Like, this community is thriving. Like, people release stuff all the time for all sorts of things. So yeah. You can just go to this site, itgtb.net, and kind of get around. You can just explore this site too. Alright. So, can I access private member? I thought we took care of this. Unless this is old. I think this is old. We don't want that. So yes, we're looking up test map. Test map. So under assets, let's go under maps. I might have deleted it when I did that transfer. Okay, so I don't see it in here. Which, fair. Let me look in campaigns. Okay, testing map. So this is a testing map. It's literally just a bunch of sand tiles. And that's it. Let me see. Let's look at levels. .txt. Okay. Test map. So it does exist. It references the correct file, testing map. And it looks like from what it was doing, like, it's not like the map wasn't loaded or anything. So it's like referencing a bad tile ID. It was like, what, 113? And this is 112, so that matches. I'm looking down here, it just shows like what the tile IDs are, and these are all 112s, so it's just saying get tile sheet, get current level tile ID does not exist. Okay, we'll probably have to dig in a little further for that. That's a little strange. Just kind of out of nowhere too. Alright, let's just debug this again, and we'll take a look. On skill set, a mid to large size company, you're definitely senior in skill set. I specify mid to large size because once you get to larger Fang, Ming, and Silicon Valley companies, everyone's a junior until you have a minimum of years. Oh, okay. I mean, that's fair. Okay, get tile sheet. Alright, what are we doing here? So, tile ID, that's correct. Map is test map. And Tile data has a size of 1. So what tile data should be is a reference to the TSX file for the tiles. So that's fine. So then it should say, okay, return. It's saying this index? No, it must be this. Space. Hold on. It's a vector, right? What vector? Okay, okay, it must be this. Tile colors. Oh, tile colors is not initialized in, testing mode. So that's gonna be what throws the error. Let me see if we can fix that. I don't know if we have to do that internally or if we're just gonna have to write some code that says if in testing mode, don't do anything. So tile colors. This is supposed to be initialized somewhere when the level is loaded. So I know these have to do with like the minimap. Like each tile has a specific color that gets assigned to, and at the beginning of the game, like these tiles get populated with like their colors. So you can see here, this is where it actually occurs, this right here. So if this isn't running compute mode colors, then they're not going to be defined. So we have to run this function, I believe, and it will fix itself. Or again, this is like irrelevant because it's like map tile colors, but we might as well try and see what happens. So let's go to the top of monster tests and try to initialize set of mock map. Apparently needs this, so let's just do... We could even initialize it with junk data if we wanted to, but I'll try this and see what happens. So game compute mode colors, which hopefully this is accessible. Is this accessible? This is a private function, so it's not accessible. Well, let's populate it first. So we need to use a tile set. So the tile set has to come from the test map itself. So that would actually be down here when we load the map. So maybe that's what we have to do. When we call load level with TMX, setup level should be doing that for us, in theory. Setup level. See, yeah, it's supposed to call it. It's right there. So we have to figure out why this isn't being called. Okay, let's see if we can breakpoint into here and see what happens. Because this should be getting called when this occurs. Okay, we're getting some more context now. See, this is what I love about programming and debugging. You get to figure out what the heck is going on, what's wrong, and do some deep diving, and I get to look at code I haven't touched in years. Which is kind of fun. I think it's fun to look at old code and be like, wow, this code sucks. Why did I do everything this way? Okay. Oh, we didn't hit a breakpoint. Okay. So we probably need to starting from here and see what happens. Oh wait, I didn't even put a breakpoint. I misclicked. Oops. Okay. Redo. Redo. Comments are important. You know, comments, your code should be commenting itself. If we're being for real. Unless, so the only time I put comments is like, okay, something dumb, right? Like, note, this will modify the current level variable without triggering anything else in game. This will normally mess up the state of the game. Like, that kind of stuff is important, right? Or like something really dumb. Like, I usually use the word stupid when something really dumb is going on, so let me find one. My undefs because stupid Linux, but let me find an actual one. Okay. Oh, more stupid Linux. Sorry, Linux, you're getting some hate right now. That's in the Pixel game engine. Those aren't my comments. Oh, hold on. This is in data file, so this isn't mine either. That's a mini audio. I see I'm not the only developer that uses that word to call things stupid. Is this just me being stupid and hardcoding the device properly? Stupid Linux, this is all me because I added functionality to it. There's stupid Windows. Finally, we got some Windows hate. There we go. I'm trying to find an actual comment. Like usually it's involving like confusion, like I don't know what is going on, that kind of thing, right? Like I have no idea, but that's usually what warrants a comment. Like maybe there's like no clue or something. I'm trying to remember where like we got frustrated. Because we've definitely had those moments, right? Where we're like writing out comments to be like, well, I just solved this really dumb thing and I still have no clue why it happened. Comments for mental notes of really stupid things that have happened. Like, yeah. Apparently I can't find them. Maybe they're not as crazy as I thought. But surely there's like gotta be some somewhere. Like, I know I've made these. I just want to find one. Like, there's a note. I mean, I guess I have notes, which I guess is the closest I've gotten. Like, I put notes here. Yeah. Or maybe I put, like, important. Yeah, like, notes for, like, things I have to mentally remember. Yeah, like... what was it? What? It said, like... warning? Yeah, warning. Usually I write warning in my error logs, though, so I don't think... scripted, this also loads the load menu window. There was something really dumb I found in like, I want to say it was my menu component system. Let's see if anything here says anything. I mean, this one says like, this allocates a brand new component. When successful, be prepared to clear it. That kind of thing. I don't know. I'll find one day. Like, I've gotten mad a few times and writing some pretty funny comments, but I can't find them now. Apparently I've been pretty good lately. Your old test had a lot of step code in the test fixture, but then you had other stuff like method initialize cleanup. Did you just miss one of those in the port? It's possible, but I did just like copy paste, so I doubt it. Also, I think I closed it. Oh, it's right here. Okay. Like, the fixture got converted. This was just the debug logger thing, which we actually do automatically now, so this is actually very old. Documentation. Yes, I don't have documentation because I don't have time to do it. All the documentation is up here. But no, I don't think I missed anything, so... But... Then again, this is new, so like, clearly something's different now than it used to be, right? To comment or not to comment, that is the question. Okay. Alright, so where are we? What are we doing? I lost track, sorry. Got lost in the sauce. Step level, right? We got here. Right, we're stepping. We're stepping. So, we basically want to see if we can get down to here. Compute mode colors, because that's where the color... So basically, it found the tile set we're interested in, setting up a new renderable with all the data for this tile set, blah blah blah. I don't think there's anything special we have to care about here. We're just gonna keep going, and... Okay, so we get down to compute mode colors, good. For this particular tile set... I'm looking for the tiles. Okay, so tileset.tileset. Iterate through tile height, divide by width, which the sprite is what? Did it not do anything? Wait, what? Okay. Second. So it didn't do anything. Like, it just literally exited out immediately. Which, tile sheet no shadow 24 by 24, oh, is not loaded in, okay, you know how I said we don't load the graphics anymore? That was part of the graphics. So I forgot we don't load the graphics anymore. So we have to load this specifically if we wanted to load in. Okay, I mean, that's fair, but I think we nuked the image loading. Like, if I go to OLC Pixel Game Engine, do you want to pop up, please? Come on. Okay. If I go here and I go to load resource... Okay. I think we nuked it. Like, we're gonna have to decide how we want to handle this. Renderable.load. So in here we added a thing where we said load from file. Come on, come on. You can do it. Okay. If not loader. So the loader is not going to be loaded in testing mode because it's running like headless. So it can't run this. So we can't load images. So basically we're saying ignore the image part. We don't care about that because we're not loading images. So we have to get rid of that part specifically for unit testing. That's the change that occurred between the last time we used it in our unit testing framework and now. Okay, so going back a little bit, we're not going to compute mode colors if we're in testing mode. We're just... Oh wait, that's not the issue though. The issue is it assumes there is something. So we could populate with fake data, but we don't know what the tile size is because the tile size is determined by the sprite's image, and the sprite is 0 by 0 because we're not loading it. Oh, it's Trolled Woods. Hi, welcome. Good to see you. Yes, we're currently debugging. Well, we figured out what's wrong. We're just trying to think of a solution right now. So why do we even need tile colors? What depends on it? It's when we get down... Where was it? I forget. Okay, we have to figure out where this crashes, right? Again, because I'm like, all right, now we know it doesn't get populated. It's not supposed to. Where do we crash? What relies on this? So this crashes at get tile sheet. So for get tile sheet, we are asking for a tile color. So we could just return like black or white if we're in testing mode. I think that's fair. Instead of doing this, because we know it doesn't exist. We would have to do the same down here too in theory, because it's going to reference that as well. Okay. Either that or we just say get tile sheet is some made up tile sheet. I think I like that better, just as like a general thing. We just return some fake mock data. So we're going to say if defined unit testing, we're going to add a new return line just right here. That just returns fake data. Because we don't care. This is all for image stuff. So we can keep this, we can keep that, or this. Because it's going to be index 1, I believe. First GID is 1, yes. And then we'll just say tile color is black. And that only occurs in testing mode. Cool. And that's all we should have to do there to fix that. Cool. So we'll go ahead and recompile and then run this test again. Possible juicy comment in Ranger. This variable is not the actual arrow count shot. That's fair. That one's pretty recent, actually. It was when I was... Oh, that's another thing we have to work on. I think I had an issue already, but like, we never implemented the tooltip descriptions. Like for abilities, we just never like did them. Let me see if I have a issue for that. I don't. So that needs to be something we have to work on eventually. I have to give credit where it's due. You can multitask. I try. Okay, this test is now... Hello? Okay, this test is now passing. This test should be passing. It was just a string comparison that was comparing to a char star, so that was failing before. It's still failing. Why? Wait, I thought... Oh, I must have undid too far. Or maybe I modified the wrong one. Anyway, that should now pass, and then we have to look at... So this one failed because of a vector too, and I assume it was the exact same thing. So this test is now... What are we building? I didn't change any... Oh, I did change this. Okay, that's fair. Are you green? Okay, you're green. And this one. This one is also green. Okay, I'm just gonna run everything again, make sure we didn't... Oh, there's this one too. Okay, I guess I was looking at a different one. Display name check, internal name check. Okay, there were two. They were like next to each other. I'm gonna run everything to make sure I didn't break anything else, and then we will commit so far. Everything looking good. Don't think I could go from having a chat to programming as quickly as you do, at least not without losing my place. Fair. Like I said, I've been admittedly streaming for so long, so I just kind of got used to it. Although we definitely been having more engaging conversations later, which I think is a good thing. That's always fun. Always enjoy that. Alright, we can get a commit message ready, I think. So this is, we migrated monster tests successfully. We also made a modification. Get tile sheet returns fake data for unit testing mode. And then this is going to be release build 13526. Fun fact for those who don't know, that's how many times I've recompiled my project since I started it. So it's just a fun little statistic that I keep going. So if you want to know how many versions of my game have existed since the start, from 3 years ago, I've recompiled this project 13,526 times now. Isn't that wonderful? Okay. And then I think we can just go for it. I don't expect any of these to fail, so I'm just gonna push it. Commit and push. And then let that do its thing. And then we can get started on implementing the final unit testing source file. So we're gonna have our actions run the unit tests. So it will run it itself on Linux as well and make sure it can build an mscripted build as well. So we'll know for sure if all of our code is still in good shape as we work on the next file. Compiler go brr. Okay, I'm gonna do this one manually. I'm gonna go to the file explorer because this Visual Studio is dumb. Go to tests. Let's just new file. So the final one is the player tests. It's a pretty big one as well. So then we're gonna add this to the unit test folder. I just drag and dropped this time. We're gonna go to the release desktop project, and we're just gonna mark that these two should not be compiled for the release build. So we exclude them from build. And then we're gonna go ahead and grab the previous version of player tests from our old testing suite and now migrate it to the new testing framework. And then after this, we'll have migrated every single unit test over to the new framework, which I'm very excited and happy about. The whole reason for doing all this is because the old framework, one, was stuck on Visual Studio, so it wasn't cross-platform. It had bugs, like if I ran all the unit tests, it would get stuck on the last one. Like it couldn't kill the threads properly. You can see this one, it just kills everything properly, whether it passes or fails. Whereas before we had to wait like 3 minutes for like a background thread to close, which is really stupid. And I've just dealt with it for so long. So this framework has been working a lot better, and Catch2 is cross-platform, which is amazing. Which means I can actually run my unit tests through my workflow now. So that's fantastic. Which means we have proper continuous integration now. Alright, so converting this last one, start by renaming the test class fixture, add in a closing curly brace down there, remove the excess ones, fix the tab alignment right here, convert test method. So this doesn't have an initialize, but we do need to provide a destructor for the oh, it's right here. Never mind. Initialize is just hiding. So player tests, this is the constructor, and then the destructor will be right here. Player tests. Make sure they're both public, which they are. It looks like some includes are being funny. Oh, I think that's just IntelliSense catching up. Alright, Codelivian, you have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Alright. Let me see. Are we missing any other stuff so far? Player tests. AIL is undefined. That should come from here. I'm not understanding. Why are we having issues with these includes? I think it's just IntelliSense being slow. This is all correct. I'm going to assume it's correct. And let's just go down here and start modifying these. So start with test method being modified to test We're also going to modify inside the parens. We're going to add player tests, comma, and an open quotation mark. And, oh wait, excuse me. Match this and add this in here. Ooh, we have to be careful. I did find all on current project. I'm going to undo that just to be safe and do it again. Just on the current document, please. And then we have to go through and replace assert is true. We're replacing these with require. I think that's all we have to do for that one. We have to also do the same for assert is false, but the opposite logic, where we add a not in front of it. Okay, and then we have... What other assert do we have? Assert are equal. So for assert are equal, it still becomes require. And then we have our little program that will convert the commas to equal signs for us. Okay, then we have assert fail, which just becomes fail. And then remove the wide string, just a normal string. And it looks like we have a couple of these again. Kind of similar to the monster stat one, but for the players. I guess just another check, which is very fair. Okay, and then I assume the test we ran earlier passed. Yes, 185 out of 185. Excellent. Assert are not equal. So we have to do, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this one myself. Not equals. This is require. And I'll have the program take care of the end bit. Alright, anything else? Alright, all asserts are taken care of. I'm going to now put this in my converter program that we wrote earlier last week. Where is it? Here it is. Go ahead and run it. It will convert everything for us. And let's see. What else do we gotta do? What's the damage? The includes are still being wonky. I hope it's not because... Oh, it's because I'm on release desktop. Oops. Well, that explains a lot. Okay. Alright, let's see here. File is good until here. Okay. We got... greater than or equal to this, and ooh, we got some compound statements. So I think for compound statements, we have to wrap everything between the ampersands and the ampersands in parentheses as a whole. Also, it has a standard format at the end, which is also wrong. So I think that's correct. I think if we do this, it's gonna complain, but we could try it. I'm pretty sure the framework actually complains, like it asserts itself when we do that, but we'll try and see. I don't think it supports like these I think they call them compound logic expressions, so we're definitely gonna have to shrink those down. MSVC supports regex and match group references. What's going on here? So test underscore met. Oh, what would I use that for though? Oh, for like, for determining if I'm testing? Like, I saw that, but I'm not a big regex girl, so that's probably why I avoided it. Like, I typically avoid regex like the plague. If I ever get shown regex, I'm like, let me just convert that to code real quick. It's much more readable. Okay. I don't know why those were lowercase, my bad. I'm like, why did I make them lowercase? Alright, what's going on here? We have W formats that need to go away. Which just weren't in part of my thing I was capturing, so I just do those manually. It wouldn't be hard to add that, but yeah. What do you mean you're not a fan of a code that looks like a cat hit someone's keyboard? Yeah, I'm like, it's basically alien language. Luckily, they're usually pretty simple, so. But yeah. Ooh. This is supposed to be, I think, not equal to. At least that's what it looks like. That's what's hinting to me. Yeah. Because we're supposed to be moving by holding down a key. Okay, so I think we've taken care of all the player tests. Let's go ahead and build. You can capture the test name in the parens in your find and replace. Oh, that's fair. I mean, yeah, I would have to turn this on. And I would have to know my regular expressions, of course. Yeah. Whoa, handwriting code. It's like, it's crazy we live in a world now where, like, people, it's not normal to handwrite code. I just think that's fascinating. Like, to me, that's insane. Like, that people, no offense to you or anything, like, people tell me that all the time. I think it's wild we live in a world where that's a thing now. I'm just not used to that at all. Because I get comments about that all the time. Trust me. Like, I never thought it would ever get to, like, a point like this. So to me, that's just completely bonkers. Use soldered wires to program the world's first universal computer. Yes, let's... I always wondered to myself, like, if you were given a computer with, like, it had, like, no data on it, so, like, the hard drive was blank. You were just given a computer, right? And you had no, like, network access, no access to, like, humans or nothing. What would you do? How would you start? Like, you knew that you had to build, like, something to make a computer be productive and useful, and not just a chunk of electronics. It's just like, how would you go about doing that? Like, it's kind of insane to think about. Just something I think about every once in a while. Oh god, what is that one? Isn't there like a website you can go to where it like tries to explain what like a regex does? Like, it kind of like breaks it up into pieces. The cognitive offload to AI and LLMs is a little concerning. Yeah, who knows what will happen, huh? Okay, so the build failed still. Yeah, there's just random, like, class defines I have to remove. Here we go. Also, what happened to my window? Alright, whatever. It's probably a couple more. Yeah, it's just a byproduct of the old unit testing system where we had to friend class some stuff. So, get rid of that. And we should be happy. At least I hope we're happy. And then we can run these tests. Ugh. Come on! How many more are there? I might just have to do a search just to make sure we get all of them. Oh. Damn. Okay. Maybe? Okay, we're going. No more header issues. Now it just has to build the whole thing, so we wait. Let's see how our actions did. Actions. Okay, I'm script and built just fine. Still waiting on unit testing. Okay, so we'll see in a minute. But yeah, waiting for everything to build. Yes, it's probably the, like, I would love to get my hands on a programming language, like, I think J or Jai or however you pronounce it, that doesn't take 10 years to compile. I would love to try to learn a language like that for my next game, because after doing this project, I've realized how bad it gets. And this is just like turning into getting close to a medium-sized game. This isn't, I wouldn't even consider this a large project. We're approaching like 60,000 lines of code I've written, and I think the whole project is like 250,000. So it's not terrible. So to think like we have to wait this long is insane. Like, it's dumb. Okay, where's my... I want to just check real quick, because I haven't checked this in a minute. That's not what I wanted to open. Open bash, please. Thank you. Okay, so 65,000 for what I've written, and the whole project is almost 200. So, like, that's insane. What is this? Okay, so yeah, this is what I was talking about. Like, the testing framework itself has a static assert that chained expressions aren't allowed. So we have to go back to player tests and fix those ones we saw. And that's just a find and we just have to, I assume we just wrap these in parentheses and we're pretty much good to go. I don't think we have to do anything else for these. So let me just highlight all these. I just wanted to say you're absolutely stunning. I love your outfit. Aw, thank you. You might get some speed up from C++ modules and other build tuning. Yeah, maybe I'm just, like, not utilizing it correctly. There's gotta be a way, right? Like, people surely have dealt with this before. But, like, at the same time, I haven't really invested any time in looking into it. And how much work is it realistically gonna take, right? Yeah, like, oh, it's terrible now. I'm sort of having the, like, regrets of, like, oh my god, templates. But at the same time, the benefits of the templates outweigh, like, the amount of time I would have spent to write everything out myself, so... Because I probably would have, like, missed stuff. There were, like, especially template classes that get generated are very handy. Like, they just offer so much convenience that I kind of have to eat the compile times for it. But, Iron Nap does bring up a good point. Like, it's not like I'm modifying, like, internal game system code all the time. I should probably be trying to get some of this, like, statically compiled or something and out of the way instead of having to recompile everything all the time. There's some, like, aspects of this that I probably have to review if I want to see compile time improvements. There's definitely, like, methods to go about this, but it's just not something I've invested any real time into. I've just been happily coding along, and as my project gets larger, this happens. Well, MSVC does support incremental compilation by default, and it is using it. The flag is on. Unfortunately, a lot of my headers are kind of... I don't have a lot of... what do you call it? I have a lot of class coupling. It's just a bad programming habit that I try to not do too often, but I have a lot of coupling. So if one header gets modified, you're probably seeing a whole project recompile. Unfortunately, that's just the downside to me going that route. There's not much I can do about that without re-architecturing my whole project. Also, I'm just gonna run these guys. Yes, but if you were to realistically spend some time analyzing my project, you would see there is a ton of class coupling. Stuff relies on lots of other stuff. It's very much not designed as good as it could be. And sometimes I do take the time to design it well, but there's a lot of stuff that isn't, and I eat the tech debt and costs now, right? And there are other things besides just compilation times that you probably should not be tightly coupling classes for. It's not the best practice, but sometimes I can't help it. I wonder why some of these... Okay, I assume the zero assertions are like, it didn't fail, so there's no assertion. That makes sense. I'm like, why some of these are zero asserts? But yeah, looks like everything builds, so every test passes. Let's try running the whole thing, and I will get this ready for final commit, and then all of our unit tests will be migrated. Migrated player tests. Okay, and this is going to be release build 13532. 13532. I definitely need to take a look at the full project, but I do wonder if the slowdown is because of template usage or something else. I mean, it's probably both. Like, with how many header files that everything relies on, like, again, any header file is basically a death sentence for the compile time. I'm basically eating a full recompile if I'm changing a header. That's like not a brand new header. Because almost everything relies on this header, Adventures in Listoria, and then you can see how many things this header includes, which is most of the bulk of the project. Like, these all then have other headers they rely on, and you can just see it's just a giant tree. Adds up very quick. So yeah, and this class is the main game class. Unfortunately, I kept a lot of functionality in here and didn't really divvy up like the game engine too well, so you can just see the massive amount of methods in here. Like, this is... fixing this is not an easy task. So yeah, this is probably the biggest one. This is probably the main reason. Because there's too much responsibility and functionality in this class. That should be divvied up in, like, the engine should be separated more to avoid having to recompile everything about the engine every time. That's really what it comes down to, at least from what I can tell. Are we still building? Oh, we're running. Okay, I forgot, there are 250 tests now, so we're finally caught up to all the unit tests that we've had prior to starting this migration, so we're just seeing them all complete now. Exciting! I'm just glad we finally have them all done. And they're all working. I'm gonna go ahead and push it now, and then we can start a pull request, because that is the end of this branch. This feature branch is done. Fun. Except now, our pull request has to perform a unit test before it can commit, so... which is a good thing, of course. We want that. So... Catch2 testing into master, new pull request, and let's go ahead and create. Alright, look at all the X's when we first started out. God, it was bad. This was the entire journey of this was the story of our last, what? 2.5 weeks? No, just 2 weeks, but yeah, that's our entire story right there. That's fun. Okay, so we're just waiting for this now. Create a merge commit when checks succeed. So it will begin that. It's probably doing it right now. Okay, so. Alright, with that out of the way, I'm going to do a local merge into master for the time being. And then hopefully everything will sync up, and if there's a problem, then we'll come back to it. But yeah, let me just do a quick sync of the master branch, the local master branch. Get... Oh, you don't close anymore. Thank you. That's much better. This thing usually closed on me when the project changed. Okay. So catch unit testing. We want to rebase master... No, we want to merge unit testing into master. Merge. That way we're just bringing all of our unit test stuff into our next branch we're going to work on. I should make sure it actually builds in release mode as well. I think that's pretty important. The game should be able to still run. Because I might have like missed a unit testing flag or something, so I should probably make sure of that while we're at it. But we're going to be making a new branch. No, wait. We're going back to our old branch, so we actually have to catch up our old branch. Let's do that while we're waiting. So... we need to merge. It was chapter 4 months. No, that's old. We're now on boss. Did I call him like shadow boss or something? Yeah, shadow boss. So this was the branch we were working on before we started all the unit test stuff. So it's a bit behind, so we just have to catch it up. So let's just do merge. How do we do this? I guess we're gonna look from this commit. I don't want to reset. I just want to... I want to merge... I guess I want to merge... I have to... Oh, I'm in the middle of a build. I'm gonna wait for the build to finish. It's almost done. And then we'll go to that branch. We're making good time, too. So we get to we get to do a little bit of Shadow Boss implementation still. We're still working on making all the player skills work on the enemy side as well. And we came up with an interesting like syntax and system to handle that semi-decently. Basically, we're converting all the player-only pointers into entity objects, which can hold, it's a variant that holds either a player or a monster, and going from there. We'll see that in a moment. So it builds, let me try running it, because it's important that it still runs. Default pack ID, I'm guessing? Yeah. So we're not allowed to run our game with the default pack ID, which is what it comes with when we do a new checkout. So I need to grab my key real quick. And I need to not show this on stream, because it's basically the key that's required to encrypt all the assets. So y'all get to stare at this for a second while I do that. Oh, how about... Oh, I'm on the wrong setting. Well, good thing I caught that before I just pasted it out of nowhere. There we go. Okay, I'll do this. Do that. Clear the clipboard. Thank you. Okay. Alright, so I went ahead and inserted the pack key into my build so that I can actually run the game and decrypt the assets. So that should be good. But yeah, I've been seeing that, I've been seeing like showcases and rumors of that language J or whatever, Jai, whatever you want, however you want to pronounce it, and I'm like, damn, that looks pretty impressive that you can just compile and run your program instantly. Like that's wild to me. But I mean, it makes me jealous. Like I wanna build like that. I wanna be able to do that. Not have to worry about compile times. Okay, so game's running, everything's great. Everything's wonderful. So alright. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the Shadow Boss branch. Bring changes? What changes? Is it just like build? Yeah, we can toss those. And then we have to merge Master into Shadow Boss. And then we'll be all caught up in here as well. So merge Master into Shadow Boss. Hopefully there's no conflicts. Looks like we're good. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and do a push. What version of Clang are you building with? Well, I only use Clang to build the Emscripten build. I think it's probably pretty high. It's gotta be because I use C++ 26 features. Like, that was every time I get a new Linux system, I have to compile GCC manually right away because nothing is up to date. How do we tell? Can we tell? Clang? Will it tell us? Will it tell us in here? Maybe in here. I don't know where it would tell us, honestly, because this is kind of like this is a container that kind of already had it. I guess I could look at what container this is. EMSDK. Okay, so whatever Emscripten had. I don't know if I really want to get into what this is right now. Let me see. Docker image. How do I look at the Docker file? Published here. Okay. What? File support ticket? What do you mean? Why is everything broken? Man. By Emscripten. Surely they got like a GitHub or something. Right? No mention of Clang on this page either. Well, whatever it is, I'm sure they're using a pretty high version. I couldn't tell you off the bat though. Emscripten. Yeah, I don't know where I would be able to figure that out. I'd have to really go digging because I haven't messed with the Docker container in so long either. So, sorry, I don't actually know. It's just, I'm sure I could like I could probably, like, log into the terminal of this container if I really wanted to, right? In theory, I should be able to. But then I'd have to figure out how that works and everything. But I know for GCC, I need at least 15.1. Because 15.1 has stack trace. And so basically, I need whatever Clang version at least has stack trace, the standard library. So if it has stack trace, it's good. That's the amount of compatibility I need, at least that much, which I think stack trace is 23. And I also use standard ranges 2, which is also 23. Okay, are we merged? We're merged. Cool. So what I need to do is I want to push. There's some conflicts. See makeless conflict. I want... Okay, this should be... This is on incoming. We want that. Everything else should be included. That's all brand new. Everything else was auto-merged, so accept that. There's Molotov in here for whatever reason. Okay. So, merge with master. Okay. Then we should be up to date now. I think Mscripton just finished. Oh, it's still going. Dang, and dependencies took forever. I wonder why. I guess it's just really slow right now. Okay, so Mscripton build finished. And then we're waiting for unit tests. My builds are failing on ranges right now, so I need to get good and install more recent toolchain. Yeah, unfortunately, with me making the decision to use 23 features, it pushes the version you need very far. I looked at it recently because I did have that issue. So I'll actually go look real quick. It was compatibility. Oh, can I have the... Where's the, compiler compatibility? I know there's where's the sheet for it? It passes CMakeless for C23 support, but then my compiler... Yeah, it's only partial support, unfortunately. Compiler support C++. There's a page for it, and I'm trying... There it is. So if we look at standard ranges 2, which is... I think it's just : 2, because I think they put the... Here we go. Ranges 2, you need, I think 9... Is this the Clang? No. Clang is the second column. So you need at least Clang 17. And I think stack trace is partial 17, but I know it compiles, so I assume 17 should be good, according to this. Ubuntu's repo is just getting DDoS for a few days, so pulling packages is a pain. Good to know. I always thought about that. I'm like, you know, my repos kind of rely on, or my containers kind of rely on repos on the internet. What happens when those stop existing? Do I just lose my continuous integration? That's kind of sad. But I guess that's the world we live in. It's like, that's the cost of relying on something else, right? That is not in your control. Like, how much can you realistically self-host? I'll keep slapping my config. You have Clank 20. Yeah, you should be good then. That's like, that's fine. Huh. I wonder what, like, I wonder if I did something wrong. Oh, you know what? There's probably like something you have to enable. Because for them script and build, okay, I might have a hint for you, a little tip that might help. So under the script and build, since I use Clang for it, I think we add something. Let me see. So mscriptin, mscript. Okay. I think there's a little hint here for this one. Okay, here's the flags. Export runtime, no. I guess I was thinking of something else. There's this standard C++2A, but like, I mean, just like, yeah, I can't see anything else that might prevent it other than having this, right? Okay. Well, anyway, shadow boss time. So I think we started, for some reason I chose like, I think wizard at first. Let me see where we're at. Or did I start warrior? I forget. I have to look. We might have to review the commit log for like where we left off, right? Okay, this is to do, so it's definitely not this one. Ranger. It's gotta be, I know it's an early class that we left off on. So if it says to do, it's not this one. Okay, it's not this one either, so it must be warrior, which makes sense. It was the very first class implemented. Okay, so yes, we're right here. And basically, our goal was, like, we made some macros, and the whole idea was, like, we were gonna combine this concept of, like, okay, instead of just feeding the player pointer, we're now feeding both the player pointer and the monster pointer. Is vibe coding really that common? I think on, like, the internet, like, especially in, like, live stream settings, I think it's a little more common in the sense of, like, programmers are running around watching others and, like, other influencers, like, promote it, right? I think that I'm pretty sure that's, like, probably a thing. But yeah, like I said, I think it's crazy that we now live in a world where it's like, whoa, you're hand coding. It's like, I'm just doing what I've always done for the last 23 years, you know? Like, damn. I'm currently unemployed. But I used to work as a network engineer, so I'm currently taking a break, and then I plan to find another job eventually. So that'll be fun. I'm trying to see if I can get, like, a programming job. That would be pretty cool. I think it's like, I think I would like to try a programming job. I think that would be fun. The closest I've gone to, like, professional experience is, like, doing some internship stuff and a little bit of, like, training alongside, like, college professors and as a tutor. So yeah, just, like, that's the closest I've gone to like real world, like, programming applications. I mean, yeah, but it's expired now, so that was a long time ago. And I didn't, like, keep it renewed. It just costs money, and I don't have money, so we're not doing that right now. But yes, had to get that. Okay. So we have this if player. So we use this whenever it's just only for player stuff. We have an end if. I assume just to close this, we use a parenthesis. So I assume this encloses an if statement, which it does. Oh, it actually wraps in that lambda we made, that, like, for player lambda. I remember this now. Because then we have, like, if monster too, I think. And then we made another macro that helps us get a config parameter based on whether it's a player or a monster, because they have to get them from two different locations, so that was a little tricky to implement. Right? The renewal is kind of annoying, but I'm over it. It's just kind of dumb, right? So we did this here as, like, an example, and then I think I ran off into unit testing land. So now we're on Battle Cry, which we're basically going to be converting all of these. That's our goal. So, like, anytime we see, like, these are supposed to be from configuration stuff, so we have to change them out. We notice that it gives a buff to a player, so now we're going to give the buff to an entity instead. So we're going to modify these to say e.addBuff, which we do have implemented. And then instead of these variables like this, we're going to swap them out for that config f. So I'm going to grab all of these. We're going to say config underscore f, because now it might not be a player variable. It could be a monster variable as well. And then we just get rid of the underscore f's here and close them off. And that pretty much takes care of that. Oh yeah, we're gonna be saying entity a lot now because we're dealing with an entity. Yeah. Okay, so Then we iterate through a monster list to slow down any nearby monsters. So if instead a monster uses it, then we have to look for nearby players. So we actually have a way to get stuff in range that is completely separate of this. So this was like manually calculated before, but we can use a function from the main game class. I think it's called like targets in range or something. Yeah. So we can get targets in range. It does return a vector of entities, which is what we're working with anyway. So this is going to be units in range. So we collect all those in there, and then we're going to iterate through those. And we need to do some checks, right? In fact, we can just filter it directly, because this returns the vector. So why not we filter it at the same time? In the for loop. So let's bring it down here. We'll bring this out as well. So this will just now be an entity reference. Entity. If I can type, that would be great. Entity E. And then we are going to filter. So let's put a pipe. And we're trying to see if the size multiplier is greater than or equal to a certain amount. So that is required. Basically, we only slow down small things. We don't slow down like large enemies. And then we also need to see if it overlaps a circle. Basically, if we're in range of it, a certain range. And then if those two conditions are true, then we go ahead and actually do something with those entities. So standard ranges. Excuse me, we need a filter view. So view filter, I think. I hope we have the ranges library. Is it ranges? It might be ranges. Ranges filter? Let me see. It's been a minute. Filter. No, it's definitely views. I don't think I have the include for it. Or if I do, yeah, I don't have it. So we need to include ranges right here. And then down here, we'll go ahead and say standard views filter. And then we get to add our little filter function. And what we're going to be filtering is for anybody that is too small. So we'll do entity E out of this. And we'll say return E size multiplier is greater than, so it has to be between two values. I think we have an in range function, util in range. I think that's only for testing. I wish we had a util for that. Maybe we'll make one later. It's not that important, but I'll just do this here. So between these two values, it's a config float. Oh wait, it's a config f, but it's also from an array value. So how do we do that? Let's see. We're gonna have to think about that because it's like it's from an array. So, this is assuming it's not an array. So we'd have to make a new syntax just for arrays. So we'll do config lowercase f, which matches with the underscore f syntax. Which is, I think, get float just has an index that's normally optional. Is that correct? Yes. So an index parameter that's normally optional. So then we just pass in the array value. So it'll be config underscore f, supply the index here. That gets passed into here as brackets. And then over here as just index. And I believe that satisfies our requirement. So then we can back up and we can say config underscore lowercase f for array, float array, and supply this guy and element 1. And then we also supply, oh wait, excuse me, element 0 for the first part. This is the lower bound, so it needs to be greater than that amount. And then it has to be less than the upper bound. So say and. And we write less than or equal to. And then we also have to determine if they overlap. So we'll take all of this We're going a little slow right now. Something's going on with my computer. It's like, oh my god, you're writing one-liners. You're killing me. Alright, integer. So we do config I right there. And then we have to change. Okay, so it's gonna be based on, so we need a reference entity. So like, let's see here. We're gonna have to divide this up because I'm gonna need a little bit of room now. Alright, so basically the if we're a monster, so I think we have if monster. Like we have if player, right? So if underscore player. Is that not what I put? Or did I put one word? If player. Okay, yes. So if player, then our target entity is whichever, then this entity has to be a monster. Wait, no, that's not right. It's the other way around. It's, this is a monster, then that means we have to compare it to the player. If it's a player, we're comparing it to a monster that's, so this entity is the user. Let's say it's a monster, right? So then it compares to the player. Otherwise, it compares to a range of monsters. But this is getting targets in range. Okay, so we already have that part taken care of. So we don't have to do the circle overlap. Okay, so I'm just doing extra work for nothing. Okay, so we already took care of that part. It's just the circle range has to be brought over. So that is this right here. Although the circles that are compared, this is interesting. So the distance between two objects, at least for two circles, is the radii summed. That's the distance. So to figure out if they overlap, you see if the distance between the two target points is less than the sum of their radii. So the range, okay, hold on. So that means the position is going to be determined by who casts it from the middle. So e.getPause. Okay, and then the radius is determined by the variable itself. So this is the range of the ability, and then it does the circle check itself based on radii. So it does that on its own. It's like a magical function that figures that out. I don't know what you're saying, Kyle. You're just spitting out numbers at me. You're just spitting out binary at me. I mean, I will reciprocate. I mean, if you want 12, you know, here you go. Here's 12. I can start writing binary for you if you want. 100. 64, 96, 16, 8, 4. Like, I can just start writing binary for... Oh, that's supposed to be a float, though. Oops. But yeah. That's 100, right? Did I do right? I did it. Okay, anyways. Upper level. E on upper level. And float Z. So get Z. How do we not have a get Z? Shoot. Alright. So this is another thing we've had to do is like, as we go through and find out what functions are required, we also need to adapt our entity class to hold any required functions that are supposed to be linked between both players and monsters. This is essentially fake like object property inheritance. This is a class that literally links to classes that are not in the same inheritance structure together, that just happen to have a lot of the same functions. So for a lot of this, that's usually how it goes. Also, we can make this const. We should make this const. Can I go back, please? Ugh. Visual Studio's dying. I'm going too fast for Visual Studio right now. I don't know what... Oh god. It's really giving up on me. I was acting like a computer when your machine was slaying. Your machine does math on binary. Yeah, it does. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's doing, but it's being freaky sometimes. Okay, it's const. So const float get z in functions const and return. We just do call class function get z, and that should take care of that. Oh, it looks like it doesn't like that. A pointer to a oh, we have to return. Return. Wait, no, it's supposed to return on its own. It says a pointer to a bound function may only be used to call the function. What does that mean? What? I don't know what that means. Let me expand this. What does it... What is the problem? Gets it... Oh, I forgot to put the... Okay. Duh. I just specified that's a thing. Okay. I'm like, oh yes, get Z. Okay. Alright, we're back. We're back in business. So... we are right here. We're gonna say get Z. And then we have the hurt type. So the hurt type, again, is determined by... I think if we supply is friendly, I think it works. Because I think is hurt argument is incompatible with hurt type. Do I cast it? So is friendly returns true if it's a player. Is hurt type's first value friendly? Should I even rely on that is the question. Like, I don't think I should rely on that. Hurt type. Hurt type is an I bullet. So player is 1 and monster is 2? Wait, what? Why is monster 2? What happened to 0? Oh, that means I can't use true and false. So I don't want to cast it. I think I did this on purpose. No shortcuts. So anyways, we add a conditional here. If friendly, then the hurt types are players. No, are monsters. Otherwise, they're players. Player. Hello? No? I'm guessing I have to... Oh. 1 colon, please. Thank you. Okay, so... we're filtering based on range and by size. Go ahead and close out this filter. So I'm going to condense this back to 1 line. Close out the for loop. And we can go ahead and do this now. So after we determined a target that is in range and potentially this the correct size, we get to add the slowdown buff to that target. And if player, because we only do enchant stuff on the player side of things, not the monster side of things, and we have to close out the hurt function, like so. Oh, something's weird. There's like 2 lines of code here. Okay. So yeah, adding a buff is determined by... we have to add a buff to the thing we are hurting. So again, that's the targets in range. So e.add buff. And the slowdown duration is the original target. So this is interesting because this function assumes E, but because we're using E here, this E overrides this E locally. So I need to adjust this to something else. This is like entities in range. Or entity in range. Affected entity, let's call it that. I like that name better. So affected entity is going to be what we use here, and that will make sure I still have access to the previous E because I need that to access the config variable. Otherwise we're going to get the wrong config variable, and potentially the game just crashes because it doesn't exist. So we do config F here as well. And then I think we should be all set. Then we have pretty much the original requirements done there. And then we always play a sound effect. Cool. Oh, but wait. This assumes it's centered. It's not necessarily going to be centered because it could come from a monster. So it should come from... so it shouldn't be centered. It should instead come from the position that it was casted at. Also, something's wrong here. Our Argument 1 does not match a parameter. Oh, you know what? This goes away too. We don't need that. P, get pause, needs to turn into E. And same over here. This is on upper level. Okay. Oh, we also have all these other config variables we have to switch out that I did not see earlier. Boom. Boom. Holy, do we have some kind of readability challenge going on? No, that's just how I code. Yeah, I don't really press spacebar very often, and most of the time, if I've got one statement, like logic statement going, I'll just chain it together. Which is how it is. It's partly because I have like an ultra wide computer, so like if I need to view my code, I'll just literally do this. And like on my screen, I might be able to show it better over here, but yeah, I'd just be like this, and then I can view it pretty much across my entire monitor. So it's like, to me, like, I don't really have a problem with this, but it's mostly because of my monitor setup, so I take that to blame. But yeah, it's just a habit I've built. So the way I code is, there's no like challenge. I'm not trying to test myself. This is just the way I code. Now, obviously, if I was in a professional environment, I'd have to follow rules and stuff. Like, I don't really think this is acceptable or readable in any professional code base. This is actually pretty bad. There are quite a few things I would have to change, but that's fixable. That's easy enough. That's just how a file looks, right? And you can easily get an auto formatter to do that for you as well, if you wanted to. And I always turn off all the auto formatters. Like, I do all my auto formatting pretty much by hand, or auto formatting by hand, just because I like it to look a very certain way, as you can tell. Just habit. I remember seeing a picture of your setup. You have about 270 degrees of monitor. Yeah, that's right. Basically, like, from here, like, I look all the way across, and I'm like, I can see everything. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, because I've got 3 monitors. They're ultra wide, so they're 5120 by 1440. And yeah, basically I have just like 6 standard size monitors. So it's pretty cool. It's just really fun, and it's useful for coding too, because you'll see I'll like glance off in different directions because I leave different code files on different screens. It just makes it easier to reference everything while I'm coding. Okay, so something's wrong and I need to figure out what's going on. Expected a statement. Oh, well, I'm sure it expected a statement here, but I think a position goes here. So we're just gonna put, the sound should be centered on this position. But it looks like I'm missing something. Oh, what's this? This should be, what is this? Config, comma, add a buff. Oh, this is supposed to provide what the, I forget they're called. It's one of the add buff overrides. Not this add buff. There's more add buffs. But since it's for battle cry, it's supposed to be for the warrior to increase the attack percentage. So I need to add support for that in the entity class as well, because we don't have support for it right now. I think I'm just gonna make like a super big function with defaults. I think that would make more sense than doing what I did here. So this is pretty, add buff for player, please. As you can see, we've got so many overrides of this, which is a mistake. I did not want to do all this. It's pretty bad, but I keep going back to, I'm trying to get to these. Okay, yeah. So here's all the overrides for add buff. Isn't it glorious? So the one we're interested is in the one that's standard set. And so I need to bring that over. So for that one, we're using strings, so it's this specific override. So yeah, I think we'll just add this as a default for now, unless I have to expand it more. So we'll see what happens, but I'm just gonna throw it in here under add buff. Oh, let me see if monster has this too, because if it is, we can just do call class function and be done with it. But if we don't have a copy of this in there, then we're gonna have to separate them, which is fine if that's the case. Just let's see. So here, yes, we do have the same function, so I will just go ahead and copy it then. Simple enough. Since we do have a copy of the exact same thing, then go ahead and bring this over right here. This would be entity add buff, and call class function add buff, transferring over attribute. Great. Real hacking to the mainframe vibe. I know, right? And on my one of my Linux machines, I have like the Ubuntu comes like with a default matrix thing, so like it literally is just there. It's very cool. Let me see if it can get to show up real quick. It's on the other side. Hold on. But yeah, I have like what is going on? Oh, I have to flip it. There we go. So yeah, I have like multiple systems plugged into my monitors so that like I can... This is another computer. This is a Linux computer. But yeah, it's just got that going. So I could just leave that there if I wanted to feel all hackerish. Yeah. But anyways, that's that. Teach their own, whatever makes you productive. Yeah. That's just how it goes. I've been in this project for 3 years, and this is what's happened. My C++ formatting has evolved multiple times throughout this project, and this is just where we ended up, so... I might have to specify it. No, it looks like it's okay. It's just, this is having a hard time right now. I think... I don't know why. I mean, we've got a return here, so there's that. I don't think I need a semicolon there. Let me see. Am I missing something? Like... I don't think I deleted anything by accident. Yeah, I'm just confused why argument 1 doesn't match a parameter. Wait. Argument 1 is a player pointer. No. Ability action function returns true. Yeah. Argument 1 is not... Okay, that's just the comment. That's misleading. Equals does not match operands. Entity VF2D. Lambda entity pause with template function standard reference wrapper entity VF2D failed deduction. Does it think this is still the old type? No, he changed it. Like all these should be matched up now. I'm a little confused. Let me build and see what it says. Sometimes the build message is more helpful. Oh. My computer now says no GL visuals. The X screensaver GL star packages are required. What? Well, it looks like I broke it, so that's cool. Like, why'd that happen now? Anyways, I'll flip it back. Oh god. And now it's back! But it's like, it's using the whole monitor now. Let me switch the source. I think it's like not looping, or when it loops it like messes up or something. That's my guess. Hacked too hard for OpenGL, right? Okay. But yeah, let me see what the build says about this. It'll probably tell us something more interesting than IntelliSense would. Sometimes you have to do that, right? Like, just do a build anyways, see what the compiler says. Okay. See, this is infinitely more useful. There's a syntax error somewhere. So I just missed something. Okay. Oh yeah, that looks like a mess. Let's see. So, for loop, the open parens for it is here, closed, not closed. Okay. And then, alright, so we still have to fix these guys now, because this is if player, then we have to get the player, which is just P. Oh, it hosts it hosts a player variable. I forgot, we made this. But the monster is our affected entity, so we have to pass that into here. And we use the player's defense. We use players on upper level flag and players Z to determine the hurt. Get rid of that extra parens. And then, so it's not in a capture, right? Because this is a lambda. So, wait, is it in a lambda? Get targets in range, filter out. This shouldn't be in the filter lambda. It should be in here. Are we in another lambda that I'm not aware of? Because that's the end of the filter lambda, so that should be whatever. And then this is the for loop. The affected entity came from up here. Oh, this is a lambda. Do I have to add flexibility to this macro to specify additional, like, lambda stuff? Or maybe I'll just add reference in general. But I guess we gotta add that as, like, captures. We gotta have the ability to do captures inside our macro. So there's our captures. And then in here, we can just specify affected entity reference. And then it'll pass it in. Cool. I like that syntax. Although now it looks like this is like checking a conditional, which is kinda... I kinda don't like that. Like, that makes me think it's like a conditional now. Which is like... I don't know what to do about that. Let me think about it for a second. Can we do this better? Because, yeah, I really don't like that syntax. Alright, let's just have it internal. You know what? We're just gonna make it reference everything. I really don't like that syntax. It just looks like I have an if statement in there. So... like, this should be enough. We shouldn't need to do anything else, unless we're like... because if we're trying to capture a global, like, we just specify the global, so that shouldn't be an issue. So I can't think of any other situation we'd have a problem with, so I like that syntax better. Okay, so what's wrong here? I assume this doesn't exist, like, this isn't the function. Play SFX. Event name, pause. Oh, it is. So, event name, pause. Right? That should be what it is. Expected a declaration. Are we missing something that I'm not aware of? Okay, what's going on up here? No storage or class or type specifier. Sounds like a syntax... whoa. Something has bled up here too? If player is undefined. What? Is IntelliSense being dumb with me? I feel like it is. That can't be. This has to be IntelliSense playing dumb. There's no way. Sometimes I hate IntelliSense. And it's very slow nowadays for a project this large. It was actually my biggest gripe of using Visual Studio Code too. I think I used ClangD. ClangD was even worse. Because it was like... sometimes it wouldn't even work for like a whole day, and I'm just like... well, I guess I'm running with no IntelliSense today. It just chooses not to work sometimes. So... yeah. IntelliSense just... it is what it is. Our project's so large. No, this is Visual Studio. But when I mentioned IntelliSense, IntelliSense is like the... it's like the thing that notifies you if you're typing like the correct code. It kind of like compiles your code and determines if it's correct. So like, usually when you type things and things pop up, that's what we call IntelliSense. It's like trying to help you, right? It's like trying to determine if you have problems with your code before you actually compile your code. Because otherwise you're kind of running blind. It's also helpful in determining like members and stuff. So like IntelliSense knows about like what pointers contains and such. It's supposed to handle all that for you. It's just sometimes it doesn't really like work. Because the project's just really large. Okay, it is complaining about another syntax error, so I guess that's a good start. At least it's something. But it's complaining about the macro, which I didn't delete, right? I didn't delete this macro. Oh, I left it the parentheses in, so it wants parentheses. Okay. That's right. That's like a weird quirk of like macros. Is like if you specify the arguments, even if the arguments are blank, you need to provide the arguments, even if they're blank. Dumb. Okay. Anyways, this build, so this is a successful migration of Battlecry, at least as far as the code writing's concerned. Now, does it work? We need to actually try it. So what we're gonna do, and I think I was trying to make this work last time, was we were trying to get the monster to do blocks, and I think it wasn't working. So let's actually go there now. This is interesting. I think we were testing to make sure it worked via like seeing it in game, and I think, oh, you know what? I think we did get it to block. It just doesn't have a visual. It's all coming back to me now. So I kind of understand where we're at now. So let's go to Shadow Boss. Oh boy, Visual Studio's having a hard time right now. A very hard time. Well, my computer is having a hard time, I will say, actually. Like, oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. You wanna work? You wanna work? Nope. Okay, let me try it manually then. We're going to go here. Let's try Shadow. Can you find it here at least? Is it just not in this project? Oh my god. Okay, Monster Strategies. There's nothing here. Did I, like, delete it? Oh, what if I stashed it? Did I stash it since the last time we worked on this? No, I don't think so. No, that's not it. Okay. Do we even have, like, the strategy name? Like, I need to find out where we're at, because, like, this is interesting. Monster Strategies. Come on. You can do a Visual Studio. I believe in you. Oh, we called it Warrior. For some reason, I thought it was called Shadow Boss. Okay. So it's called Warrior plus Thief. Okay. Well, that explains a lot. Okay. Oh, I even have a breakpoint here. So we kind of were proving that, like, the block was actually applying. So I guess we can just run this and see. It's still finishing building, but yeah. We'll just, we'll try it. We'll see where we're at. I think the monster probably blocks, and then we have to add in the visual. I think that's where we're at. You know, that's why my computer was being so slow. I forgot that I actually hit build, which takes up a lot of processing. I could lower the amount of threads it uses, but considering how slow it already is, I don't want it to take any longer than it has to compile, so I will suffer the degradation of performance. Okay. So I think we just had it spawn in place of the pirate captain. So I'm gonna turn this off for now. Just because I have other music in the background. Okay. Yeah, I just assume it's part of the other pirate boss. Yeah, so we just had it spawn here. The sprite's not correct, but that's fine. The sprite's gonna get replaced eventually. And then I think we get a breakpoint when it uses it. Like, we get a breakpoint hit. Yeah, we do. Okay, so hit this breakpoint. It set a defensive cooldown, so it should have gone into here. Okay, let's continue, please. Oh, it's probably optimized out. Damn. I was hoping we get to see it, but then it'll probably just run it again afterwards. So we just have to make the visual for it. At least that's the assumption. So it should do it again in a minute here. I think the cooldown's like 8 seconds. Yeah. So they'll just keep doing it. So we at least know it's invoked. How do we know if it works though, is the question. Let's go back to Warrior, and I guess if it was working, we should see that it has a buff afterward. Like, we should be able to look at its buffs and determine that it has that buff now. So we can breakpoint here and see it, and that should work. All right. Okay. So let's look at the entity itself. And we want to look at the buffs array or vector. Here's the buff list. And we can see it does indeed have the block slowdown buff on it. And it lasts for 3 seconds. So it has a slowdown buff on it, which it's supposed to have. And it's... So as long as it has that, that means the block should be working. Okay, so with that in mind, we have to provide the visual for it, because clearly there's no visual right now. So we have to go to the monster's draw function. And inside the draw function, we have access to the rendering of it. Oh, I need to narrow this down. Current document, please. Okay. And then here we can see all the buffs that can have and what colors they end up. So what we actually want to do is draw like an overlay. And I think I'm getting some deja vu here because I think I've already implemented this. So let's see. Here it is. If block timer is greater than 0, draw another decal on top of block.png. So for some reason this isn't being run. It's part of draw overlay monster, which should be called as long as, oh, only if overlay sprite exists. So we don't have an overlay sprite, so we have to put it in the draw base monster function just on top. But I guess if we were doing that, we might as well just put it down here. Like so. Yeah, we might as well just put it in here if we have to draw on top of this, and potentially this. So I think this makes the most sense. I think the only reason we would do it in here is so that it shows up in reflections. But, I kind of like that. At the same time, I don't know. Let's just go for it for now. We'll put it in here because it makes the most sense. So it should have a visual now during the time it's blocked. Now my next question is, does it take damage while blocked? Because I don't think we have that in the damage calculation yet. We could probably write a unit test for it. Like, if does blocking work for monsters? That is like kind of a critical game engine feature. I feel like we should write a unit test for it. So we'll go to unit tests under monster tests, and if a monster is blocking, it should be taking no damage. So we'll add a test for that. We'll go ahead and call it monster blocking test. And we'll go ahead and grab a random monster. I'll just use this poor little fire mage here. And we'll just say, okay, fire mage. We might have to make the blocking variable, we might have to add an if-def because it's probably private. Blocking, what is it called? Is it called block or blocking? It's called block timer. Okay, block timer. Let's set it to 5 seconds. Even better, we could tell it to use this ability. Now let's just do this. We're strictly testing the block, not if the block ability works, because it might have other side effects, and I don't really want to bother with that right now. So let's see if it... Oh, well. I need to get in unit testing mode first. But yes, let's see if the visual pops up. That'd be cool. Okay, so we can see the visual pops up for the block, so that's good. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. Let's see if they take damage. Just out of curiosity. Okay, they still take damage, so it's not part of the damage calculation yet. Which is fine, we're making a unit test for it as well. So it should fail right now, in accordance with what we just observed. So we're gonna make the fire mage get hurt while it's blocking. Oh, let's switch to unit testing project. Please. Help. Okay. Come on. Visual Studio, please! Okay. Alright. Alright, damage. Let's try to do 100 damage to it. It will be on the same level as the mage. Z is the same as the mages. Hurt flag, no hurt flags. And then we're gonna see if the fire mage still has max health. So we're gonna require that the fire mage's max health is still equal to the current health. Someone traditional coding, yeah. Like I said, I still think that's just wild that's just a thing now. It's like, oh my gosh, you don't use AI? Whoa, that's so cool. I'm like, this is just what coding has always been. What do you mean? Nothing's... Why is it so special all of a sudden? I just find that so fascinating. Alright, anyways, this block timer is a... This block timer, it needs a public as well, so I might have to just rearrange some of these guys. That's probably gonna be a recompile if I do that. Oh well. It's a recompile either way. I'm just gonna throw it in there too. In fact, maybe I'll just move this block all the way down. If we're gonna be doing that anyway. There's no significance to putting them in any certain order. So, I will put the method on top though. That looks cooler. That looks nicer. And I removed an end if. Oh, okay, just like that. So now at least to give public access during unit testing. And then let's go ahead and build. I get asked why I don't use AI all the time on stream too. Oh yeah, every day. Plenty of people asking, right? But yeah, go traditional coding. I'm just doing what I've always known. Like, this isn't anything special. This is just what I know. This is what I do. Oh, it's being painfully slow right now. Tread coding is a term from the Primogen? Oh yeah, that guy. Mustache guy. If you haven't seen them, they're really funny. Yeah, their shorts pop up for me a lot of times, and sometimes they do like the what do they call it? The stand-up? He does like a little like interview show now, right? I saw a couple of those pop up. I know he does other stuff too, but I think he reacts. He's an influencer, right? You gotta do the react content. Oh no, I've been going around watching other live streamers making their game, then working on my own. But it's cool to watch what they use and how they do it. Oh yeah, for sure. I love talking to other developers about how they go about their process and what they use, and like we compare and sometimes we argue. It's just so fun. I absolutely love it. I love sharing my passion with everyone. It's just awesome to meet so many wonderful programmers. People who don't have coding skills ask that kind of question. They ask, why don't you use Rust instead of C++? I mean, I think that's just preference. Like, use Rust if you want, right? Do I want to use Rust? I don't think so. That looks scary. I am dastardly afraid of the borrow checker. That thing is gonna ruin my life. I already can tell. I just have to look at the code and I'm already terrified. I'm just a big fan of making systems and custom edit tools in Unity. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. AI and Rust, are they kind of like hand in hand? I mean, maybe, right? Who knows? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Mostly with web devs, they're not really enthusiastic about coding. So, yeah, there is this, like, this methodology that I notice where there are people entering the field because they're told they can earn lots of money. It's a money-making field, right? And if you're doing something for the money, that's all well and good, like make your living, but like it is a very different attitude from you going in because you're passionate and you love the thing you do, right? It is very different. AI makes programming boring. And that's my thing too. That's like also one of the things I tell people is like, the fun part about programming is the problem solving, the debugging, the code writing. I like to write every line of code. I like to style it. I like to see it. I like to create errors and fix errors, right? That's all part of the experience and that's fun. And to have that removed from you is very sad. It's like, it's not something I want. I can understand why people do it and it saves you a lot of time. I get it, but I enjoy it. I genuinely enjoy sitting here typing out character for character what I want my code to do. It's fun. Also, why aren't these popping up? Am I on the wrong unit testing? Unit testing. Build. Why are you not detecting? Oh god, please. Click run all to build and discover and run all your tests. It's not picking up my tests. Do I have to like restart Visual Studio? Hold on, let me try this. Sometimes it gets dumb on me. Let me try this again. Sometimes I just like flip it and it realizes what it's supposed to do. No, it didn't rebuild. Okay, I'm just gonna try a restart. That's a little weird. All test containers are up to date. I disagree. Let me just like change let me add a space. Force a rebuild. I disagree. It's not rebuilt. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's like this test adapter gave up or something. Yeah, Catch2. Yeah, something's wrong. Okay, so cannot locate. Well, that's fine. Catch2 test adapter settings not found. I mean, it hasn't. Oh, did we not commit the run settings? Oh no, I need my run setting. We didn't commit that? Oh shoot. What happened to it then? Is it just hiding? Do I have to... Wait, I'm a little confused now. Hi, I'm doing C# with Mono. I'm trying to learn domain-driven development. Is it worth it to use it in game dev? Domain-driven development. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. But maybe I've probably dealt with it before without realizing what it is. That happens a lot with me. I don't know like the like actual terms for things, but I found that I typically, because I've just programmed for so long, I've encountered these things by accident. Let me take a quick look at what that actually is. What is domain-driven development? A software design approach that focuses on modeling software to match a domain according to input, against the idea of having a single unified model but divides a large system into bounded contexts. Can I get, like, examples? Oh, it's like one of these, like, philosophies, like agile, waterfall. It's another methodology? Is that what this is? DDD. Part of a series on software development. God, this is... I would have to, like, actually read about this, because this looks very particular. Like, this doesn't look like a simple concept. Let me see if there's, like... Is there a diagram? Can I, like, get a TLDR? Domain-driven architecture. Domain-driven design. Tackling... Wow, this looks so professional, you guys. What is this? Business logic in controller and in data access objects. Framework coupled to controller. Direct access to data object from controller. Developers and architects are only thinking about a framework. Most of our development time spent writing plumbing for the framework instead of real business logic. The meaning of object-oriented programming gets lost. Domain-driven design is about mapping business domain concepts into code to create software that reflects the business rather than the framework. I have no idea what this means. This is all buzzwords to me. I'm sorry. I tried. Look at the impact, though. Look at the charts. The charts say it's good for you. You should do it. I don't know. I can't help you. I'm sorry. It's an alternative way to manage projects with many restrictions and oriented on easy testing. Like, is this like a solo project? Like, I mean, if you're trying to prove something to a company, you're like, oh, I want to present this project for like best practices and show that I know about this. Like, I guess you can go ahead and flex those muscles and try to build your project like that. But to me, I think it's better to just kind of steer your own course and choose the option. I'm talking very broadly here. Choose the option that makes the most sense for your situation, right? Like, there's nothing saying you have to do that, right? Data-oriented design that fell out of ECSs. Yeah, I'm very confused what domain-driven development has to do with you writing your own personalized project. I guess is what I'm confused about. Unless you're really trying to demonstrate to a company that you know these concepts. I don't know. It sounds like you have to do something, you have to structure a certain way so all the business logic is organized in some way. And that's all I got from that. Okay, so we don't have the run settings, and the run settings, I could have sworn got committed, so let's see what happened. Didn't just not make it here? So master is now merged. Let's just take a look at this commit real quick and just browse the source, because the run settings file should end up in the project folder, like right, it should be in the working directory of the project, so it actually should be right here, which I don't see, so that's a bad sign. And we can check here, but I don't think it's in here either. Also, Abieb808, thanks for the follow. Welcome. Okay, so run settings. Oh, there it is. So it's here. So we need this. Why is this not in our current project? Our current branch? It is right here. Okay. Maybe we have to, maybe it's not added to the Visual Studio solution. It is. Okay. So somehow it's not detecting this. I'm just gonna restart. This looks like a Visual Studio like crapped out on a situation. Also, Aban Kelly, thanks for the follow as well. And welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, I do that all the time. I'm like, I disagree with you until since you're wrong and I'm right. And Visual Studio's wrong and I'm right. Alright, I'm just gonna try, let me just try rebuild, see what happens. Maybe it'll work now. Loading test from cache, waiting for build to complete. I mean, it looks promising. At some point, I just tried to create a mental map of my whole project, eventually just getting lost. See, if you're making a game, see, this is a problem. A game is a very creative thing, right? You're gonna make your game and you're gonna want to change things, or you're gonna want to redesign things, or you end up having to find out something you made is really slow and you have to optimize it, and then you're like, oh, yeah, the test adapter's not working. Shoot. And then you realize you have to change things around. How can you realistically plan a very solidified architecture for something that's basically an art? Like, you're basically trying to mold a game without the creative process, without keeping the creative process in mind. Does that make sense? You can't realistically architect your whole game because you don't know what's going to happen to it. You don't know what requirements there will be. Like, you can try to predict, you can make some general assumptions, and you can be like, oh, I'm going to use ECS for X or Y reason, or maybe I'll use like a hash map for my assets, like an asset manager, right? Like, you can probably make those general assumptions, but like to architect the whole thing as if it was some kind of like business like project, I don't think is reasonable for such a creative like application. That's just my 2 cents, because this is a game we're talking about. If it was just like software, yeah, I get it. Like, software has to do a very specific thing, so you can map that out a lot better. You can decide like what services you're using, what your code's gonna look like, what rules are you gonna follow, like what do they call them? What programming patterns you're gonna use, right? You can like decide all of that realistically for a more structured project type. Off-the-shelf game engines. Yeah, you could build a basic game engine. Like, you could definitely architect that out. Yeah, like, you really have to have like planners for that kind of stuff. You have to like, you're gonna have like strict goals, and you're gonna set very strict like, oh, I'm coding this very specific module that does this. It sounds very like corporate, you know? At least to me. Okay. So I'm having a pretty big issue with this test adapter for some odd reason. I'm trying to remember if there's anything specific I have to do. Add Catch2 adapter settings to run settings file. I mean, we have a run settings file. So no test available in Adventures Listoria exe. I can try it clean, but that's gonna... I might as well do that while I try to figure out something else. Just do a clean and a rebuild. Might as well give it a shot. But, I am on the correct project type. This is unit testing. As far as run settings go, like, this hasn't changed. I haven't touched it. I didn't randomly add, like, invalid characters to it. This is just supposed to work. So the fact it's not detecting it is strange. If anything, I might try, like, switching to another branch and building and coming back. Like, I could have messed up that. Maybe Visual Studio is just confused right now. But anyways, we wrote a unit test to check this, so... we might as well implement it while we're waiting. So, if we go to Monster, we have functions to calculate damage. So, essentially, under the hurt function, we have, like... Yeah, it would be under the hurt function. Similar to the player function. Like, basically, we're gonna have a check for if blocking. We're gonna nullify damage somewhere. So, I don't think there's anything that can get through other than true damage. So if an attack is marked as true damage, it definitely needs to go through. So, mod damage. Let's see here. When does true damage get applied is the question. True damage. Okay, so here's the true damage flag. So, true damage is right here. If not true damage and not dot. And in undamageable state. Okay, so that's just invulnerability. So where do we use the true damage flag? Anywhere else? I'm not seeing anything else. Deal true damage. Ignore damage rules. Oh, damage rule is the internal variable. But like, we have this boolean, so surely we're using it. Let me see, damage rule. We pass it into strategy on hit, which doesn't matter. True damage. Yeah, we don't use the flag anywhere else. Ignore damage rolls. It's a little strange to me. I guess if it was true damage, it would only happen in deal true damage. Let me see, deal true damage. Calls hurt as well, just with ignore damage rules. Which true damage is here. But where does it actually get applied? Do we just not use it? I'm a little confused because ignore damage rules doesn't matter in this scenario. It just gets passed on to strategy on hit function and that's it. It's a little strange. Like, is there another function that gets called when a monster, like, do we have like an on hurt function on hit? I don't think so. I think that's all that happens. So that's really strange. It's like true damage just didn't work at all. Like, maybe we should write a test for, like, seeing if true damage even worked. I don't think it's implemented for monsters, because we can take a look at the player hurt function in comparison, and we'll probably see a difference. So here's the true damage flag on the player hurt function. So how do we handle it here? Okay, so... unless it's under this, which I doubt. Yeah, it's not. There's just damage amp there. So... okay. If normal damage calculation is required, because it's not true damage. So this would be ignored if it was true damage. Oh, so it just doesn't apply defense. And that's how it gets through. Okay. So we just ignore like a defense calculation, which is why it looks so hidden in here. There's no defense calculations for monsters, minus the get damage reduction. Okay, there it is. The normal damage calculation required. So that makes sense. It's just a little confusing. So we can detect if block, we block in here, because this is where we would reduce damage. Get damage reduction from buffs. In fact, we can just call it damage reduction. We can say if we have the, what's it called? The block slowdown? Or we can even just say if block timer, although this is really about buffs, so We don't want to include this in here. That function name doesn't really make sense for this. I'll just put it in here then. So if block timer, mod damage just gets completely nullified, right? I don't think we reduce it by any amount, we just set it directly to 0. I just want to do more modular and want to make better code. DDD has many patterns that can be useful, like database access. Yes, it's kind of comparative, but still can be useful to keep readable structure. No, it's okay. I personally prefer like learning about this kind of stuff. Usually people tell me like, oh, have you tried X or Y? And I haven't heard about this like in like an official capacity, like the term for it. And then I go researching it. I'm like, oh, that's just more information for me, like to study and learn. Like, I don't know if it'll like actually apply in like an interview setting, but imagine if I go to an interview and somebody's like, oh, do you know what DDD is? And I'm like, oh, I actually do, because I studied it because some viewer told me about it. Like, I think that's pretty awesome that I can learn from other people, you know? So I don't mind at all. It's just another learning opportunity, right? Things I don't know are not things to shy away from. We always have to be willing to like learn and grow. That's just the nature of anything you want to be good at. You have to try things out and get better and be willing to understand you have room to learn. I'm always learning new things every day. I'm working on this project. I have viewers that tell me they learn stuff when they watch me. It's like, we have a lot of fun together. Most vexing parse is that... I think you asked me this question before, and I swore it was related to, like, function arguments, like... Or it's like return type. Like, you can't deduce, like, which function prototype to call based on the return type. I think that's what it was. Something like that. I know it's based on like multiple functions and their arguments or return types. One of the two. I forget. Did you ever feel the need to take a look at assembly code for a project? Not really, but I also don't know assembly, so I need to actually learn it. Like, it doesn't look very hard to learn assembly, just you have to actually sit down with it and study it and probably reference everything, and then you kind of understand what's going on. But then I feel like you'd have to like sit through and like, I think the biggest thing people have asked me sometimes is to put code in a Godbolt and review it, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't understand. I can't read that. It's like, great, it's in Godbolt. I still can't understand it. I don't understand what that means. It's like, less instructions better? Question mark? Sometimes, right? Like, that's all I can gain from it right now. But I would like to learn, of course. There's so many... If I wasn't doing this project, that could be a fun side thing to do, for sure. Okay, so I just did a full rebuild. 0 test found in 2 seconds. Great. Well, that'll be fun to figure out. Something always has to go wrong, you know? We are almost out of programming time, though, so it's gonna have to be for another day. Or maybe a project for tonight. We'll have to see. It's likely just something really dumb. Or, like, I'm sure if I, like, switch branches, maybe it'll fix itself. I don't know why the test adapter decided to die. Maybe a computer restart, even. So anyway, we implemented block in theory. It just nullifies the damage. And that's pretty much it. That's all we have to do. We can try it though, like we can try it live since might as well test it for real. It's syntactical collision. Declarations between variables and functions can share the same syntax. So the most vexing parse states if you're using direct initialization, it can be parsed as a function call or a declaration. Oh, I've always done curly braces for initialization to avoid that because I've gotten compiler errors due to that, which I believe is why that would occur, right? So yeah, I use curly braces for that exact reason. Because sometimes I'm like, it's calling the wrong... I don't want it to call the function, I want it to call the constructor. Why are you doing this? And then I realize we just have curly braces, so yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's good to know that that's what it's called. The most vexing parse. It's very cool. Alright. Yes. I'm just gonna make sure this works, and then... what else do we have to do? We have to... I guess we have to try the other ability. So we'll test the other ability too, see if the battle cry works. In theory, it should slow down the player if the monster does it, and that should be that. Oh, this is supposed to be an if statement. I see. Wait. If has battle shout... oh, it's supposed to be more. Wait, otherwise... oh, it just doesn't do damage otherwise. Okay, okay, I see. That's why this is if player in the first place. So this is supposed to be in an if statement. I like deleted the if statement. Oops. Well, that's silly. I guess I can throw this onto one line now. Okay. Don't think I've ever seen it called out in an interview, but I'm sure someone has been asked about it. I believe it. I think just knowing that that can happen is useful. In programming in general, right? For C++. You used to have to wrap your constructors with extra parens to mitigate the vexing parse. Damn. Alright. Okay. Let's see it work. Okay, 0 damage. So, we know it's mitigating, and then it's fine after. So, it looks like it lasts for as long as the visual as well, which is important. So that's good. Okay. So next we have to test the battle cry. So let's go ahead and have it execute the battle cry instead. Warrior... oh. Get out of here. Alright. Warrior plus thief. Okay, so instead of doing defensive, let's activate ability 1. I'm just gonna keep the variable called defensive cooldown for the time being. I'm just gonna use the same cooldown as the shield, even if it doesn't make sense. I'll just try it again. In theory, if it works, it should slow down the player. Because it gives the slow... it gives a down... wait. Does it slow down? Right here. It will add... no, that's the effect. Get targets in range, add buff slowdown. Yes. To whoever's in range. In theory. Maybe I'll bring Warrior too, so I can make sure it works conversely. Like we didn't break it or anything. That would be good to double check, right? Do that. Okay, I need to unlock all. We can go over here. I have my cheats button. I can cheat. Okay. Go over here and test it. And it crashed. Okay. I mean, that's fair. I assume it doesn't have the variables, that's why it's complaining. Yeah, trying to read non-existing property, so yeah, we had to add the variables. So what we can do is we can go over to the warrior config file, and we can grab the variables for ability 1 that are related to it, and just modify them for the monster, or just keep them the same. We just have to make sure we copy them over and modify them accordingly. So let's go to the warrior and thief config file. Actually, where is... it should have a... oh, you know what? It's probably just in strategies. Yeah. So, if we go here, we go ahead and in front of these, we add in warrior.ability1. Basically, any variable that gets used needs to be supplied here. Trying to think what else... I might need these guys. Or at least the range. I know we need the range for sure. So grab the range. Maybe the cooldown as well. Okay. I think hopefully we have all the variables we need so it doesn't crash. Okay. Try that again. Do you use something like Raylib? Yes. This is using the OLC Pixel game engine. You can just think of it as like Raylib, but for C++. So it essentially provides graphics and a little bit of input handling, and you do the rest. Just some basic functions to help you draw to the screen. So it's very nice. Luckily, I think most programming-based interviews concern themselves with architectural and algorithm problems over syntactical nonsense. But it might also be a depends on the job kind of thing. That's very fair. Affect fade time. Oh, they need, they're supposed to have spaces. Okay, I mean, that's fair. Alright, spaces it is. Ability 1 with ability 1 space. I can definitely see someone who's interviewing for an investment firm to be asked about caches, page tables, and very granular algorithm questions versus a generalist who may be more system design. Yeah, that's very fair. Thanks. Yeah, the project has been working for... Oh, cool. The battle cry came out. I didn't get affected. I think I wasn't close enough. Oh. It just doesn't... Maybe the slowdown effect doesn't apply. We'll see. I want to see if I get slowed down. I want to know if I get slowed down. I think I do. I guess I would be able to tell if it was more aggressive. Let me try, I feel like it's supposed to be a lot more... Yeah, I don't think it's working. Because 40%, there's no way that's 40%. Absolutely no way. So, let's see. Well, let's pull out debug, I guess. And let's see what happens when we get to this for loop. So that's gonna be where everything oh. Oops. That's gonna be where everything starts. Unfortunately, that'll be a recompile. And then I think this will be the last thing we look at for tonight. But good progress today. I'm very happy with how things have been going with this project, and we're pretty much back on schedule. We're back to actually doing game stuff now, instead of worrying about our unit tests. So, actually, now we're worried about our unit tests again, so... I don't know. I'm sure once I realize what the issue with this test adapter thing is, then... I probably will be able to prevent it in the future. At least I hope. It just decided to crap out on us all of a sudden. I'm glad you've been enjoying the stream. I'm glad to be here. I really enjoy hanging out with y'all. It's a lot of fun. There's a YouTuber named Coding Jesus. I do recognize the name. Somebody asked me once if I would pass a Coding Jesus interview. He's a good resource on quantitative analysis or interview prep if you're into that stuff. He can be a niche and tad bit heavy, but it's a decent study resource away from the typical leak code loop. I mean, that's fair. I mean, I'm sure as I get closer to having to do a technical interview of my own, I will probably start, like, researching some things myself, right? Like, that would be wise. Like, I don't want to go in completely unprepared. I don't really think I'll get into quant, but you know. Who knows, right? Who knows where I'll end up being? Cannot open Adventures in Listoria.8. You're not even supposed to compile this. Oh, the debug project does not exclude the tests. I see. Well, that's an easy fix. Just... Man, that means I have to do it 2 times every time I add a test. That's kind of lame. Where... Source files... Here they are. I just have to exclude all these guys. Exclude from build, yes. So shouldn't have to build anything now. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I got a little bit of time till then, so we'll see. Oh wow, I haven't seen the terminal for a little while. It only pops up in debug mode, but here it is. Okay. Time for slow mode game. I only mention quant because they're usually the most extreme of language folks. So it's like over-prepared to the nth degree. Is it really that crazy? I mean, I assume, at least right now, programming is very competitive as a job. I've just heard horror stories, so, you know. Like, trying to get a job is very rough. Who knows? Hoping for things to work out, right? Okay, so we're here. Let's see if it grabs any entities we're interested in. So get targets in range. Let's just go straight to get targets in range, please. Here, let me break point into here, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so position is whatever. So we get a full list of everything. Oh, I remember how this works. It does the hurt function without hurting. So size is 0. Radius is... oh. Well, if the radius is 5, of course that's not gonna work. How did I mess that up? The calculation was 12 times. Oh, this was... wait. Integer divide by... wait. It would have done 12 times this, and then divide by 100. Which... range is 500, so 12 times 500 is what, 6,000? Divide by 100 is supposed to be 60. Is it supposed to be in pixel range? I don't think it's supposed to convert it. What's radius here? 5. How do we get 5 out of this? Shoot, something's wrong. Okay, well, now I have to see what config I gave us. Well, not config I, but get the config value, because that's definitely not right. Damn, okay. Well, that's definitely an issue. Because I wrote here 500, so that shouldn't be... okay. So we're essentially gonna look at the value of getInt when it pops up. So we'll just breakpoint in here. Actually, we should do this once it actually starts. Disable for now. Most companies look for junior developers who have skills like a middle or senior developers. The key is pay less, hire highly skilled developers. I mean, I assume they would want, like, you know, the cream of the crop if they can get it. But, like, thinking from, like, a business perspective, like, if a spot is open, the company needs that spot filled, how much time are they realistically gonna look before they accept a hire, right? But I guess if there's plenty of job applicants, that's not really a problem. They could be like, oh, I have 1,000 other applicants, but how much time is it gonna take to vet through those and find the one, right? Like, there's gotta be some, like, give and take to that system, too. Well, of course, they'll try to get the cheapest, the most productive, cheapest employee they can get, of course. Because that makes sense from a business perspective. Like, pay less, get more, why not? Okay, let's just hit the next breakpoint. Or don't hit the breakpoint. Did not even read this? It should have. It should have called _getInt. Unless it's friendly, wait. Does it think it's friendly? There's no way it thinks it's friendly. There's no way. How did not... oh, I disabled it. I forgot. Oops. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way we didn't hit that breakpoint. Okay, here we are. So this is Warrior Ability 1 range. Index 0, right? Okay. Should be this one. Okay. Let me just see what it returns. Okay, so it returns 500. That's good. So we have 500 going into here. So 12 times 500, right? So after that is... what? Get targets in range. How does the radius turn from 500 to 5? I don't understand. Like, it would be 500 divided by 100. What about the 12? 12 should have been multiplied, right? 12 times 500 would be 6,000. Divided by 100 would be 60, which is the correct value. I'm a little confused. Like, the 12 is getting ignored somehow? Try again? Like, you would think this would work. The average recruiter gives a resume less than 10 seconds? Wow. That's wild. So this returns 500, that's fine. Yeah, that's all the information we're gonna get from this. Minus me, like, somehow, when we get in here, the radius has been reduced to 5. Which is bizarre to me. And this isn't like... There's no trick here, this is just... This returned 500, we said... Unless this 12 is like... Hold on, let me expand this. Is this just doing something funny? Like this macro expansion? Let me see. Ah, shit. Damn it. That's why. It's a ternary, so it has lower priority. Okay. Of course. So I need to wrap these in parentheses so it gets calculated internally before it comes out. Oops. That definitely would explain it. Okay, I'll run it one more time. It is a macro change, so that's just copy paste, so this doesn't actually cause a recompile. I don't think it should. Oh. I must have changed something else. Does modifying a macro? Really? I must have modified something else, right? Like, it's interesting that it would recompile the whole project. Okay, anyway. Yeah, just a little oopsie. But yes, I believe this is the last thing we're gonna do tonight. We're just gonna make sure it works. And as long as it works, we can call it good for tonight. So tomorrow, the goal is to get through the rest of Warrior. Hopefully get through Ranger as well. Like, these conversions should start going fast as we get more used to them. So, we should be able to get through Warrior, Ranger, Wizard. Yeah, either, like, at least get halfway done. We have 6 classes total, so... Do you write shaders like in HLSL? What do you think about writing music with code? I've never tried it, but my girlfriend really wants me to write music with code. Like, there's, like, something... She's shown me, like, TikToks of, like, these folks that, like, literally just write out code. And then, like, they get, like, tracks to start playing, like, loops. I think that's really cool. You, like, programmatically do these. I think it's very, very sweet. I would love to try... Yeah, Sonic Pi. That's what it's called. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm really good at it, but I do... try and write shaders sometimes. Like, there is a shader like for this, you know, the like the mosaic effect. That is in here because I use it for like the world map transitions. So what happened? Thank you, Visual Studio, for being so weird, as you always do. Okay. But yeah, it's just kind of tucked away in here because it's like, I needed it. So you see? Shade? Do we have a shader in here? Are you gonna show me the shade? But there's an upgraded version of this Pixel game engine that's currently in beta test. It's not publicly available yet, but it does allow you to use shaders. Like, it's built into the engine now, so that's cool. But I literally had to write this in the code. This is the mosaic shader. So yeah. It's just in the code, in the header. So it gets built, of course. Yeah. Alright, game. Game. Are we stuck? Oh, I think we're in a breakpoint. Are we in a breakpoint somewhere? Am I missing something? Hello? Well, we're not aired out, so we must be in a breakpoint somewhere, and I'm not seeing it. Also, where'd this come from? Oh, here we go. Okay, it just took forever. Goodness. Alright. I don't know where you came from. Can you go? Here. You go here. That's useful. Okay. Anyway. Go ahead. Yeah, debug mode is very slow. Yeah, class.h is pretty generic. Yeah, it's used by a lot of things. It has a couple of useful things in it. Anyway, come on, let's see if it works. Does this work? I don't think it worked. I don't feel like I slowed down. Okay, well, at least the range should be correct now, right? Like, that should at least work fine. We'll breakpoint right here and see what happens. So radius is now 60, which is correct. So do we have something in our list now? Okay, so we actually have the player in our list now. So that's working in theory. This is the player. Yes, this is the warrior. Okay. So far, so good. Let's continue. Okay. So do we enter here? We don't. So it gets filtered out somehow. All right. Well, if this is friendly, so if this is a player, we're only filtering for monsters, and the entity was not friendly, so it's filtering for players. So it should get to here. I should have. Yeah, let's try this next. Let's see what this has to offer, because maybe we'll find something else on this line. And then hopefully that's good. So it has to deal with sizes then. Oh, uh-oh. I didn't change the index to 1, so it's looking for size 0. Oh no. I messed up, didn't I? It's from size 0 to 0. Oh no. Okay. So that needs to be index 1 from the array, not index 0. That's a typo. And then after this, we're done for today. This is implemented or finished converting battle cry to entity. To entity. What are we calling this? Entity compatibility. Battle cry. Yeah. To have entity compatibility. Yeah, of course. I appreciate you all tuning in. Glad you all enjoyed. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so in theory it should work, but I'll just double check the values coming out of this. Okay, so we're in here this time. That returned... Okay, it actually returned an entity, so that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and wait for the enemy to do it now. Okay. And this time it returned us. Okay, good. Excellent. So we should have been affected. And I'm not slowed down still. But let's go here then and see what happens after the filter. Because maybe the slowdown doesn't... Oh. So E is correct, but this statement isn't correct. Okay, maybe I should look at what get size multiplier returns compared to the actual values. Because maybe that config f array macro does not work the way it's supposed to. That's my guess. Yeah, it's awesome. I'm glad I can motivate people to do that. That's really nice. I'm glad I can. Okay, let's just probe a little bit more. So multiplier, size multiplier is 1, the player's normal size. It's checking for the enemy is friendly, right? Where's the is friend? Oh, okay. It's checking... Yes, so it's checking the monster if it's non-friendly or not, which... Oh, it's considered friendly. Wait, is that right? Is the entity friendly right now? Entity is what? Entity is warrior. Okay, yes. That's... Oh, because we used E here. I forgot. We're overriding this variable yet again. So that's why we're not getting... Because it's friendly. You get size multiplier. So it's equal to... Okay. An affected entity add buff. The affected entity is... Okay. Well, we'll look at this next time. I think we're almost there, just... we are out of coding time for today. But again, thanks for tuning in, y'all, and thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.